Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to King of the Sea 5, the European Finals. I'm Mr. Conway, and with me here is
Chrysanthos.
We are broadcasting live from our Paris office for what is surely going to be an amazing finals weekend. We've got 4 amazing teams that are going to be playing today. We're going to start off with a match between ALN and TWA, that's Alliance and Total War Alliance, for the match of 3rd place. So our semi-final loser bracket. And the winner of that game is going to be playing the NA losers bracket winner tomorrow during our international finals. So they still have quite a lot to play for, even though they're not in the finals. It's going to be really exciting. Yeah, today is a little bit different from usual streams for King of the Sea. Usually we do community streams, and we have a huge amount of people on Twitch that are live, you know, sacrificing their own free time to bring you guys the games. But we thought we'd do something a little bit different and a little bit special for this edition. So we've actually invited 2 of our community casters to join us in the office. It's going to be really cool. But anyway, we'll head over to those in a minute. Let's talk a little bit about our first game, Chrysanthos.
Yeah, let's take a look at the teams that are playing. We have Alliance and we have Total War Alliance. The 2 alliances battling each other, and you can already see the maps that are going to be played in that order. So it's going to start with Warrior's Path, then we're going to have the Islands of Ice, then it's going to be played on Trap, Sea of Fortune, and the last one, if they get to that last match, it's going to be on Shatter. And most of you should, like, at least the people who watch competitive gameplay for World of Warships should at least know both of the teams, because Alliance has been around for quite some time. They actually won the OMC Cup last year, and they were actually a surprise team back then because they managed to surprise with a different set of tactics back then. It was very smoke heavy, and they managed to do a lot of skirmishing to get the win. And it was very interesting to watch. They had a little bit of a issue to get enough players for weekends to play more competitive, so they were a little bit off the scene for a while, but now they're back and they made it this match.
Yeah, it's amazing. Total War Alliance is another, like, if you look at Total War Alliance's team lineup, right, I don't look like there's hardly a nation in Europe that's not in there. It's one of those true European teams. You can see that they do have a good mix of ships that they usually play as well. This is another clan that's been around for quite a long time. They were actually originally founded by people that left Total War Arena when it went back into closed development, and they headed over to World of Warships. They still have a couple of those core members in there. So they've been, you know, like, I think they started off playing quite casually, but they got into the competitive scene at King of the Sea 3, getting knocked out by our finalists' sister team, WGP2W. And yeah, they played in League of the Sea. They made 3rd place in King of the Sea 4, and they did actually at some point, at one point, contend for 1st place in the clan battle season when it was running, before they got knocked down by OMNI. So 2 teams that we've seen a lot of games from, and that definitely have a lot of potential for today's match. Yeah,
and I'm sure that both of the teams want to show their best. Alliance, for example, they used to play in the first clash of the service that we had with EU versus Russia, and they actually won that one. So I think they actually want to show that they can also be in the one versus NA and at least win that match.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really, really excited. But I would like to introduce our very special guests. We have flown them from the cold, icy, desolate wastes of the north. Winter is coming, jokes, insert here. Yeah. To come here and cast for you. So for the first time ever, sitting side by side, casting the game, being able to look at each other's screen and punch each other in the face when they make mistakes. Here are Flamu and Isolate.
Well, hello everyone. Pleasure to meet you all. And well, this is going to be really awkward because, well, neither of us are used to actually talking to the camera. We're used to, well, talking to the microphone. So this is going to take some getting used to for sure. And well, are we actually going to be going on soon?
Not in a little bit, I think. But yeah, Paris. From the frozen north, he says. We come here and it's spring weather for us too, pretty much.
Well, I mean, frozen north, Finland this summer or this winter has been, I wouldn't exactly call it cold compared to what we usually see. It's actually been very, very comfortable. And coming to Paris and seeing exactly the same type of weather has been pretty eye-opening.
Very true. Very true. Let me figure this out real quick.
Okay, are you actually logging in? I mean, we will be moving on to ALN versus TWA, which is going to be very interesting. It might just be a third place game, but what makes the game actually interesting is that the third place winner will be fighting NA, which is a pretty significant thing to be fighting for, because obviously all of these teams will want to be representing EU in the clash against NA. So this is their chance to finally do it.
A lot of bragging rights, even in the third place.
Indeed. Okay, anyways, let's throw it over to the analysts, I guess we'll call them.
Okay, so you just saw the brackets up there. If we bring them up again, let's look about where teams got eliminated. So I think the games that we saw on sort of the first 2 days were, you know, I think they were a lot more one-sided. Once we got to the elimination stage here, I think most of the games were really quite... Everybody had to fight for their win. There were no free games as such. So looking at the two teams that we're going to have play first, Alliance and Total War Alliance, if you actually look, Alliance has had some interesting games. The one I would like to highlight the most is the fact that in the... But with the quarterfinals, they actually knocked out Autumn Mortis, which for me was a big surprise. Autumn Mortis has been in the competitive scene since the absolute beginning. They've had a lot of success, and they actually fielded a joint team with OMNI for the last tournament and won it.
Yes. So there was a big surprise, actually kicking out the ruling King of the Seas at that point already. And yeah, if you don't know King of the Sea so far, so what is it about? It was up until this point a European event where for this iteration we had 64 teams sign up, and since we had the clan battles as part of the Warships experience since October, we actually picked the first 16 teams that made it into the ladder for the Warships. They had an already secured spot, and the other teams are basically picked by sign-up date. And this is basically how it was built up. So you had 16 groups with 4 teams each, and then they actually managed to get to the single elimination stage. And then fighting through all of these matches to get to this match shows you how good these teams are. So it's just something they played like 2-3 teams and won, but they actually managed to get to the entire part.
Yeah, it's really impressive, and we've seen some really spectacular games along the way. I really enjoyed watching OMNI versus ALN.
No, TWA.
No, versus TWA, for instance, was really close. Ended up going to game 5, and it's like so close.
Yeah,
so close. It really shows you the level of the teams.
What's really interesting for me is that if you take a look at these teams and how they're composed, like from nationalities and where the players are from, it's very, very a big variety when it comes to the original players. For example, ALN used to be a Polish team in the beginning. Mostly Polish, but now they recruit a lot of German players as well, for example, to just get the best of the best into their team and to be able to compete with all of the other teams. And the same thing is true for TWA, being from all over the place, just focused on getting the win.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think what's going to be very interesting about the first set of matches is what kind of setup the teams are going to bring. Especially TWA, they managed to get on the 2nd place in the clan battle season, really contesting hard with OMNI about the first spot. Yeah. And they brought cruiser heavy setups. They even brought it in the final match, I think it was one of the last matches last weekend, and showcased how good these cruiser setups can be and how much they can push the enemy team towards a defeat. So I'm really interested to see whether they're going to bring the same setup for today or whether they try something completely new.
Yeah, I honestly have no idea. It really remains to be seen, I think. I want to mention a few things that are going to be interesting for all of you guys watching. I know that you guys are watching on Twitch and on Facebook right now. We're also live on Flamu's Twitch. I want to give a shout out to Flamu's viewers right there. We are running a couple of things today. It might be interesting for you. We're running a chat bot. If you type !help in Twitch chat, you'll get a list of the commands, so you get some information. We are also going to, able to show streams in other languages today because we're sending out a clean feed from both Flamu and ISO's view. So we're also having German casters live, we've got Polish casters live, we've got a Mandarin cast, and we've got a French cast. So if you're interested in tuning into one of the other languages, just type !languages and you'll get a list of links to their streams. We're also running a prediction campaign, so you have the chance to predict the match outcome for ALN versus TWA, and later OMNI versus WGP2W. And if you pick the correct combination of who wins and what the score is, we will be in the pot to win some exclusive tournament camouflages. So we're raffling 50 sets of camouflages for the first game, and then 100 for the second game. So to simply type !prediction in Twitch chat to find out how to get there. If you're on Facebook, just head over to twitch.tv/worldofwarships, type !prediction and you get a link to the channel. But I think our trusty Tucky will probably be able to drop a link into Facebook chat for the prediction campaign anyway. Please be aware that both the prediction campaigns will end 10 minutes into the game 1 of each series to make sure that you actually have to predict it and not just get the result there for free.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's going to be interesting. And you can also just let us know in chat, who do you think is going to win the first match and who do you actually cheer for?
Yes.
I think everyone has his own personal bias when it comes to teams and how they play, especially after the last 3 weekends. Getting to see all of the teams, you probably picked already the team that you like most. I think OMNI probably has a very big fan base, but I think that the team that surprised me most was Skunk.
Skunk played very well.
Very well. Even brought OMNI very close to defeat. I think TWA showed off really good matches as well. So I would just like to know, what are you interested in? What are the kind of teams you're looking forward to, get to the final matches against NA?
Yeah, bear in mind, because this is a tournament cast and we need to make sure that there can be no cheating. Not that any of our teams would. We are running at a 5-minute stream delay. So if you are trying to talk to us, bear in mind, we are 5 minutes in the future. So all our responses, if we do get to respond to you, are going to be 5 minutes late. So our apologies for that, but it's the only way to ensure a completely level and fair playing field and that there are no shenanigans involved in the cast.
Our chat already discovered the !poi command.
Yes, you need an !poi command. It's impossible to go without.
Exactly. So if you want to you want to build up a team and you want to participate in King of the Sea or the tournament scene in general, how does it work? The King of the Sea is actually pretty easy. We usually have a portal article that's going to announce when the season is going to go live. Then there's a set date where you can actually just sign up with the team. You have to be quick about it because we already had more than 64 signups for this King of the Sea. Yeah. So a few teams are already waiting on that list to actually get in. So
I think we had 9 backup teams sign up, and I think signups for the 64 teams closed. I think we were full in less than 4 hours. I know there's one particular clan who had a clan leader who was supposed to sign them up who fell asleep on the sofa, and they unfortunately didn't make the cut. So it's important to be quick off the bat for that.
Exactly. And we also have some really cool prizes for the teams as well. So this is the first time we actually, we're adding the international layer on the King of the Sea part of it, because King of the Sea used to be EU only. But now for the first time, tomorrow, starting at 1700 UTC or 1630 with the pre-show, we're going to have the international finals, where the first match is going to be the 3rd place of EU playing against the 3rd place of NA. Then, surprise, the 2nd playing against the 2nd, and then the big final match. And that's going to be a little bit late, but it's really worth waiting for it. And the teams have an additional prize pool for that. So who's ever going to win the international finals is going to get a gas coin.
Yes. Who's
going to be on the 2nd spot is going to get a hood, like the entire team. And on the 3rd place, it's going to be very interesting for the team, a T61.
Yes. Bearing in mind, the T61 is going to be handed out when it's released, because obviously you might have noticed that it's not been released yet, so it can't really go. Yes. So the teams will have to wait a little bit until it hits live, but they'll get it on release day, which is pretty cool.
But what about the King of the Sea flag?
Yes. So the one special thing that we had created for the King of the Sea when we started off was the King of the Sea flag. The idea of the flag is that your team gets it, and if you want to keep the flag, you need to defend it. Otherwise, it's removed if you lose the next King of the Sea. The King of the Sea flag is one of the only flags that give a significant bonus. So it actually gives a 50% bonus to a Captain XP, and I think it's also a 15% bonus to credits. So it's a very, very nice flag for the teams to have, and it's also something that only one team, only like 14 people ever on a server will have. So it is, I think, our most exclusive flag, and it comes with bragging rights. It's pretty cool. I'd like one. I don't have one.
I would love to have one, but I would actually have to earn it.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, and also for the other participating teams, we still have a prize pool with our special FTW camo and a lot of different other prizes.
Yes.
So if you're interested, if you want to showcase that your team can beat the other teams, just make sure to sign up for the competitive scene as well. There's a lot of stuff coming up, so be part of it.
We have a tournament subforum on the English forum section. There's usually some information there. There are also clans and teams looking for players, especially in the run-up for King of the Sea. We have quite big rosters because we play over 3 weeks. The format is 9 versus 9. There's 2 battleships and 1 aircraft carrier at tier 10. But we do allow each team to have to field 14 players to make sure they have enough reserves, you know, for when someone can't make a match day. They can also be switched in. So if you are looking to get into King of the Sea, it's always good to get on a team, get in a reserve slot, and start training with them, and then I'm sure you'll get a chance to play as well.
Yeah, and if there's no King of the Sea in the near future, there's something coming up that is very good for you to train, and that's going to be the Clan Battle Season 2.
Yes.
You can already try it out right now on the public test server. It's very easy. Just go to the portal. There's a publication about it. We can find out how to actually sign up. And then you can just fool around a bit. And then when the season goes live, just try it out. You know, meet up with your friends, have some fun, build up a team. And then maybe you just go into one of these competitive tournaments and you might win. Because if you take a look at how these teams developed, for example, TWA, I remember them, I think they started like King of the Sea 2, and they, like, I think they managed to get through the group stage, but then they lost. But now, the last 2 King of the Seas, they performed really, really well.
Yes.
The Clan Battle season, the 2nd spot. So you can see the progress within the entire, like, over time, within the tournaments, that it's really skill-based.
Yeah.
And that if you just keep working on, you know, strategy, tactics, how to approach certain maps, and how to actually counter enemy meta. Like, for example, TWA created their own meta when it comes to cruisers. And as far as I know, OMNI struggled with in the Clan Battle season in the beginning because it was a different concept. So it's always good to use this as a means to just gain experience as a player for even random battles, but especially for the team aspect of World of Warships.
Yeah. Shall we have a quick look in Twitch chat and see if Twitch chat's got anything interesting to say?
Yes.
I know we are looking 5 minutes late. I see lots of poise and predictions, guys. Our bot is on a like the commands are on a 1 minute cooldown to make sure you guys don't exceed the limit of the spam. So you're gonna have to wait a little bit. The hack's 5 minutes into the future, someone says.
It's a weird feeling. I have to say, if you know, like, this chat is 5 minute delayed, and it's a weird feeling for everyone involved. But we just want to make sure that it's the fairest way for the teams to play, to not have the feeling that someone might actually see what the team is doing, because that's always a problem with live streams, right? When the teams are sitting at home. So I think this is a very fair solution for the teams. They feel safe, and you still get to get the full experience of what's going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
And especially today, I mean, we managed to, for the first time, to get it in a way that the viewer can just be on one channel, and we can just swap between the different point of views. So today you don't have to go to 2 channels and pick whatever side you want to watch, but we can just swap in between and see where the action is at.
Yes. Also, if you're tuning into one of our community casters, they are watching a 5 minute delayed feed, which means that you guys are actually going to be at the same time as the streamers watching, so you're going to have no delay in talking to them. So if you do speak the other languages, feel free to check them out, or feel free to stay with our cast, of course. We're happy to have you. So we've got 11 minutes till game number 1. I think our specialists over there probably have a few things to say about the game and a few predictions on what they think is going to happen. So shall we switch over to Flamu and ISO? And,
No. Before we do that, we actually have something prepared for today.
Yes.
Yes. So,
Sorry,
but
guys.
before we do that, I will just do a shout out, because we are now here on Twitch with an official World of Warships channel. So if you haven't followed us yet, come jump on it. It's very easy. It's twitch.tv/World of Warships. We do have weekly streams. We're going to have special update streams. We're going to have developers for Q&As. So just jump in, sign up. It's the best way to get information. And otherwise, make sure to follow our other contributors, because that's the place where you get to see the best action. And we have created a highlight reel of the past 2 weekends that we're going to showcase now. So enjoy it, and we'll be back in a few minutes.
Greetings, Twitch fans, and welcome back for another day of King of the C5.
Looks like Des Moines is taking some bomb hits, and he's kind of...
Wow! 3FM nuking a Des Moines out of existence with planes.
Oh! Nice shot.
Never mind, I think they will.
Oh, he detonated! Detonation! What?
Montana is gonna get the top sunset. What? No way. They're gonna run out, right? No, famous last words.
Oh, detonated!
Detonate! What?
What?
Can he get it behind?
He does.
He does get behind. Oh, Flambass's corpse serves to protect him. It's Torp Central. Oh no. Oh, he's reversing really well. Oh, he managed to dodge. Oh, oh my lord. The perfect gap, and he manages to fit in between it. That was really well done by Bow Wow.
Wow, that dodge.
That was
Not
nice.
one, not even one hit. Also
Like,
Rick.
if he can actually take this cap, that would be ridiculous.
Wow, wow, wow. He takes it. Well done there by Asher.
That was awesome play.
Did Tanker just fire HE?
I think he might have done.
Okay.
Mind you,
And Montana's not going for the ram, he's just going for a full broadside. Oh, God.
Straight into the
Ouch.
Citadel.
Now he rams the Kerr first, that's max value.
Okay, yeah. That's why
There
he's
you
in the
go.
tournament team and we aren't.
Yeah, he was
Oh,
going
dear.
full on value there, and there it goes.
So that's what
Wow.
probably the easiest 200,000 he's ever made in a tournament game.
Mamma, Lo prende! No, l'ha preso!
Sì, l'ha preso.
Ma non l'ha ucciso!
No.
L'ha preso o non l'ha ucciso?
Devi averlo preso nella parte
Incredibile.
Oh
man.
boy. Uh-oh.
Oh, Strafe comes in just too late.
And it's
okay.
it's gonna be super hard to avoid these.
No, he's gotta take something. They're at just an angle. Wait a second.
Right.
Reservoir's fast. Oh my god, he outrun them. Wait, but will he accidentally run into the next set? No, he's faster than the torpedoes.
He needs to basically sacrifice the planes. Unless they can... Oh, they managed to curve the shells between!
Hello again. Hopefully, whatever small sound issues that we had earlier should now be sorted. We do have people that are on top of the things when it comes to these small issues.
So, that's the first series of the day done.
Indeed.
And we're going to have a bit of a break again. So we're going to pass it over to the couch sloths. Yeah, words, English. Yeah, and we will be back. When
will we be back?
That's a good question.
Well,
That's
we'll let the
yeah,
couch
exactly.
tell us exactly.
We'll
We don't need to pay attention to these things.
No,
We'll let them
that's
deal with
beneath
that.
us.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yep.
So what's up next? When are we going to have the next match?
So we are going to take a short break, just so our casters can actually go and recuperate a little bit. It is very hard work, 20 minutes of flying commentary. Also, we need to give a little bit of time to our next teams to get ready. So we're going to have Order Mortis International facing WGP2W at 18:10 CET.
So when are we going to be back?
We are going to be back at 18:05. So we are going to throw you guys into a break shortly. But don't go anywhere, or if you do go somewhere, go there shortly and then come back, because I really anticipate this to be a hell of a match coming up. Remember, you can still enter your predictions for the match from of OMNI against WGP2W. Simply head to twitch.tv/worldofwarships and type !predictions to get our trusty bot to give you the link. Tell us what you think the result's going to be. If you're correct, 100 of the people who are correct will win a bonus code on the exclusive tournament camouflage and our Restless Fire flag.
Yes, and we're going to hand them out early next week.
Yes, Tuesday to be being
Tuesday, because Tuesday. We're spending our weekend here in the office, which is, I mean, we're nerds and we really like doing this kind of stuff, and we're very happy that all of this worked out, and we got to actually pull this off, having King of the Sea here with our 2 top casters for the English audience, and we...
Not to forget our biggest fans.
Our biggest fans?
Yes.
Of course. Who else would it be? No, but I think overall it's like it's a very good experience. No.
Yeah, biggest.
Oh wow. There was that
I
one.
Needed to make.
Wow.
I needed to do it at some point, but
I
can't believe it sailed just under the radar.
Wow. Okay, so if you wonder what is behind us, big fans.
Really big fans.
Really big fans. Wow. We actually had to carry them over here.
Yes.
Because where we're sitting here, this is the actual community area of Wargaming EU in Paris. So you're sitting right where people usually type the answers on forums and the portal, and it's.
Yeah. If you look really closely, just left of Chrysanthos' head, you'll be able to see Candly sort of moving in the background.
Should be here. There's a sneaky Candly helping. I think she's helping with the tanks today.
I don't know if we've got trolled yet by them. I'm not sure if they've. I think they've just. I think they're just busy.
Or maybe they just missed the opportunity to do so.
Maybe.
I'm actually surprised that neither Iso nor Flamu actually trolled us sitting here right next to them, because they sit right here next to us. So we can. For us, it's really fun because we like the last King of the Seas. We actually sat down at home and watched it from the couch at home. But here we actually get to watch right over there and see it live in action. And actually hear Flamu and Iso right next to you is also a very weird experience, I have to say.
Yeah, it is.
You're used to hearing their voices, on the Twitch channels, and now they're sitting right next to you, and it's a fun experience. I hope you share that as well. And if you feel like this is something you want to see more in the future, make sure to follow the contributors, push the follow button on Twitch for all the channels that you enjoy. And also let your casters know, like, it doesn't matter whether it's like English, German, Polish, French, whatever language you're watching right now, just hit that follow button, let them know that they're doing a good job and you want to see more of that in the future.
Yeah, we're definitely paying attention, and we're doing King of the Sea this way because of the amazing support we've gotten from the community, the huge amount of teams that have been training and signing up and bringing high-level gameplay, and then all of you guys just tuning into the casts and enjoying it. So shout out to you guys, because without you, we wouldn't be here. I think...
do we want to do a big shout out to the organizers?
We definitely want to do a big shout out to the organizers. Do we want to do it now?
Yes, I mean, we can do it multiple times, but the thing you have to realize is that this tournament is something that has been started from the community. We're helping from a company point of view, and especially Mr. Conway invested a lot of time over the course of the last year to help this tournament and support it in, with portal publications, with prize pools and so on. But the real legwork is put in by the organizers and adjudicators, who are making sure that everything is running smoothly, that all of the teams have the right setups, that everything is in the same place, that the rules are applied and everyone sticks to the rules, that there's a really cool rule set that is fun to watch and easy to understand for the teams, and like organizing 64 teams, especially in the group stage. Even today, like everything is running just smoothly. I love it, and a big shout out to all of the organizers and also the adjudicators, and thank you very much. It's so much appreciated, and love the community.
Yeah, like the amount of people of their own time people have been putting in is really what's made this possible. We would have if we wanted to do this on our own, we would have to hire quite a few more people to just run our tournament. So thank you guys. We're very happy about this, and we hope you enjoy it as well. I think we are going to go to our break now.
Yes.
Grab a drink. Just to remind you, we will be back at 18:05, talking about the upcoming game of Automods International versus WGP2W, which will be our European finals, and the winner of which will face the North American winner tomorrow evening to determine who's going to be the king of the Atlantic. So it's going to be very exciting. and I expect OMNI is definitely going to bring their A game, and I was really curious to see what WGP2W brings. They've shown great potential, and I think if someone can take OMNI off their perch, I think it's going to be them.
Yes. So we'll see you in a bit, and stay tuned for the EU final match.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the European finals of King of the Sea 5. We are going to be seeing OMNI face Wargaming Pay to Win. It's going to be absolutely glorious. I want to say thank you for those of you who stuck around. Please tell all of your friends right now that if they left, they can come back now. It's time.
Yeah, now is the time to be here.
Yes,
now
this is going to be
getting real.
We've been hyped for this game the whole time. We were talking about it yesterday evening. We were talking about it today. This is going to be really, really great. Both these teams have absolutely spectacular track records when it comes to competitive events. Wargaming Pay to Win has been, they've been around forever. I think they formed in for the first season of Team Battles. And since then they've participated in every single, Flamu wants his hat, sorry guys.
Yeah.
And since then they participated in every single competitive tournament we've held. So they've done quite a few King of the Seas. They managed to come top 4 in a couple of them, and they actually even won a French tournament and the MDiv League at some point, which is pretty cool.
Yes, I think on tier 6. And yeah, OMNI, I mean, most of the competitive team, they know OMNI. It's hard to not know OMNI. They've been around basically from the beginning. I have to say, I used to be part of that clan as well before I started working for Wargaming. And the first time they actually went for competitive gameplay is with the start of team battles, which was like the first iteration of like proper team fights within warships in a 7 vs 7 environment, which was a really fun experience, I have to say. And they are one of the most competitive teams. They won the first King of the Sea, the second King of the Sea, and won the fourth one, shared with an OMNI team. So if you don't know OM and OMNI, basically, it's the OMC, the Odin Mortis community, and the OMNI part is basically the international part of Odin Mortis, and Odin Mortis used to be mostly German, so that's where they're coming from, and they share a lot of players. They do a lot of skirmishes against each other, they're trying to become the best players, and as you can see, they also have an independent state inhabitant called Strangers123 who is living nowhere. But that's gonna be tough here.
I love the looking at the lineups of these teams. Just how these are European teams. Like they really transcend all borders. Like this is they've even got an American traitor, which is interesting.
Well,
Evo side. I've played with him as
Evo
well.
side, but I know where he lives. So he lives in Germany, actually.
Yes. Oh, that's okay. Fair enough. But
so at least that's his excuse to play on the European server.
Yeah. OMNI also has like quite extraordinary number of contributors and or streamers in their clan, which I find really interesting.
Yes. I mean, most of the names you probably know. It's like you know that Flamu, for example, is part of OMNI. Not part of this team when it comes to the competition, but they do have Flambers, they have Ferricella, they have T-Kane, they do have Runner 1, 2, 3, for example. So 357, sorry, Runner. fucked up your name. So yeah, it's even Evoside I think started streaming, and Strangers, if you like to watch CV play, also a streamer. So you can see they're competitive and they want to share the experience also with other people.
Yeah.
And yeah, they've been around for ages, but now Wargaming Pay to Win, they're going to challenge them when it comes to their flag. So they have to defend it.
It's going to be really interesting. Yeah, if you can see, Wargaming Pay to Win had quite an interesting trip through the tournament as well. Obviously knocked out Alliance. And before that, they took out Kings of the Sea, which is an unknown team so far, but who did really well. They knocked out the OMS team, which, I mean, it's a sub-team of Automotus, but those are still very, very good players. They knocked out their own sister team in round 2. So they've not had an easy trip through the tournament, and I think they're ready for Omni. But we'll see.
Yeah, and I think Omni had. It wasn't like this Rufflestorm through the tournament. Skunk put up a really good fight against them. TWA put up an amazing fight. It was so close in both of these encounters, and now Wargaming Pay to Win is not going to be any easier. So I'm really looking forward to it. And as far as I can see, I think the teams are ready. Do you want to give up a bet?
I just want to ask what your prediction is. I'm going to call it 3-2 for Wargaming Pay to Win.
No, I'm going for 3-1 for Omni, because I think they're going to they will do it. But we will see what happens. So I think we're going to move over.
I'm just seeing the guys.
Wow! I think. Oh no, it's a World of Warplanes.
Where did you actually? It is World of Warplanes. Oh god.
So I think we have the carrier player figured out.
Yeah, let's hand over.
And the commander of the Moskva.
Let's hand over to the casters and enjoy game number 1 of Omni versus Wargaming Pay to Win.
All right. Well, it's our turn then. Hello, everyone. Yeah, Wargaming Pay to Win versus Omni. I mean, this is a bit of a grudge match, more than anything. And Omni, of course, want to prove that they're still absolutely the number 1. But Wargaming Pay to Win has been trying to contest that status for a long time. And this is finally the chance. Are we going tier 1s or carriers, by the way?
Carriers.
Carriers. Okay, let's see. All right. Which side are we on?
I'm assuming you're going to be where you always are.
No! Oh, I'm on Wargaming Pay to Win.
Oh.
Did you know about my curse? The curse I had last weekend. Every time I casted for a team, that team lost. Until I got to Omni and they barely won. So now it's Wargaming Pay to Win that has to deal with this. And, well, we're seeing a pretty standard setup. Double gearing, double Des Moines, double Hind, and double Montana. This is, I would say, EU competitive meta. Kind of in a nutshell when it comes to Kings of the Sea.
Yeah.
We see sometimes some variations, but generally this has been a very solid, stable base setup that pretty much all the teams have enjoyed.
Yeah, and as far as the Omni goes, they're going to go with the 1 gearing, so the 1 destroyer, and then a Minotaur, so I don't know, a destroyer
kind
and
of
a
a second destroyer, I guess.
Destroyer and a half.
Yeah.
And then the 2 Hindenburgs, the Des Moines, the Zao, and double Montanas. So...
Zao for roaming.
Yeah, and the... Omni usually runs 2 destroyers, no?
Yeah, I mean, they like the double destroyer a lot. It is RNG Sama and the Minotaur, though, so I would say maybe the Faith isn't misplaced, because he is considered an extremely good cruiser player.
Yeah.
But it's Islands of Ice. Huge open areas, and where exactly they're going to park the Minotaur, the only thing that comes to mind is A. That island north at A, park him over there, and that's where he can sit safely behind the island and shoot down all the planes. And if anyone tries to come brawl him, well, if there's something the Minotaur is exceptionally good at, it's really, really close range brawling. As long as you don't get Citadel, of course. Right. Interesting, of course, Stoev, who is the carrier for Wargaming Pay to Win, is a former Omni carrier player. Which is something you see quite often on EU teams, is that the carrier players tend to have their roots in Omni. Interesting is that Farah is actually, I think, not able to show up today.
Okay.
So...
Strangers back in his carrier.
I mean...
Yeah. That's where it began.
I wouldn't exactly call it a downgrade, I would call it just a side grade, because he's been playing a lot... I mean, he knows how to play carrier. He's been playing that for absolute ages. It's going to be interesting now.
Yeah. All right.
Strangers versus... Oh well, let's complete our ritual suicides.
Yep.
Let's hope I think Mr. Conway managed to fix my issue. You know how he fixed my issue with it randomly changing to French?
No.
He deleted every other language except English from it.
Oh.
That's the kind of colonization approach I can appreciate.
Yep.
Okay, quick suicide. So let's see. Hindenburg. I mean, Hindenburgs have shown their strength this tournament. We already knew from Clan Wars just how strong the Hindenburgs would be, but this tournament especially, we've really been seeing that pure strength that they bring, and it's the versatility.
Yeah.
They can brawl, they can long range harass, they got good AA. They are pretty much good at everything, and that's really their strength. Let me get this hat is actually insanely warm. Holy crap! I need to get rid of it briefly. There we go.
Yeah.
Right, quick ritual suicides. When it comes to splitting up, we got Des Moines Hindenburg being sent north by Wargaming Pay to Win, a Gearing being sent into B, which is, I guess, pretty common. Both teams will no doubt try to get that cheeky early B capture point. The question is if either team will actually give up B, because B is one of those caps that it's pretty hard to actually fully capture because it's so huge and open.
Yeah.
But it's hard to cap. Mostly because it's really hard to force the enemy team out of it.
All right. So a quick look from the Omni perspective. Flambas going straight into the B cap. Just right up in there from the get-go. And not a lot of support. Omni seems to be splitting up north and, of course, down south towards C. And that's where the Minotaur is moving. And we've seen that in the past, that the Minotaur is really strong as long as nothing can flank it. And if it does get flanked, it's gonna struggle quite a bit. But then again, RNG Sama, he's on point with that.
Wait, so they're actually sending the Minotaur down south? That's interesting. I wonder if they're gonna try to get him into. It could actually. It probably is radar Minotaur.
Yeah, and they're probably gonna try to
the
utilize
island.
this
Exactly.
island.
Yeah, the island between B and C. Interestingly, Omni is being allowed to get B. They have a gearing prepared. In fact, if we switch to this point of view, interestingly, General Olsen was sitting right outside B, but he didn't reverse and contest. They are allowing, I think they might be playing some mind games here, and the idea is they let Omni take B, and then they wait until he disengages completely, and they're doing exactly what I thought. Look at this.
That's smart.
That is mind games.
Yeah.
That is mind games. So Omni thinks that they gotten this early B advantage, but it was all a bait to get rid of Flambas, and now they're trying to cap it for themselves. In the meanwhile, Des Moines, Hindenburg, Montana, all being sent to A, and the rest of the forces all congregating around C. So both teams have the goal of getting AC control, I think.
Yeah, and that's what we've seen in the tier 10 competitive, is that A and C is the place to be.
Indeed.
Meanwhile, when we played, when King of the Sea was tier 8, and the Smoke Haven meta, it was all about B control, who can lock down the middle of the map.
Yeah, and A was considered very difficult to get proper pushes in from, mostly because you were pushing into two smoke blobs that were just waiting for you. But we do have the contest in C, and as far as I can tell, they seem to be actually getting it.
Yeah,
they're
C is going to be free for Wargaming Pay to Win.
B is actually falling, so this little ploy that they made is working out really well for Wargaming Pay to Win. 2 capture points in a row, and even A is going to be falling into Wargaming Pay to Win's hand.
Yeah.
So we are seeing what is very classic Omni early game, and that is losing all capture control. Basically giving up all the caps. General Olsen dodges the torps without issues.
RNG Sama here from Omni under a little bit of pressure. He is getting a smoke that's going to lead up to that island. Flambas is dropping a smoke for him. We'll see if he's going to utilize that to push up. Is there a radar in range that could reach?
They are still trying to get there. The question is the Des Moines radar. Actually, if we switch to my point of view, Wargaming Pay to Win is doing the same kind of approach here with smoking up a Des Moines. The question is what is actually the range? Let's take a quick range check here. No, it's nowhere near enough. It's not going to reach. If that was a Moskva, that Des Moines would be able to radar the Minotaur if it pushes to the island. But because it's a Des Moines, the radar will simply not reach. It's a strong position, and they still hold all capture control. But once that Minotaur gets there, I would assume they're going to be a lot more threatening towards C.
Yeah, and moving over to the Omni perspective again here, Flambas is going to move into B, try to flip that back, obviously. Important note here, this smoke is not as long as it could have been. It could have led all the way to the island, which leaves it so the Minotaur of RNG Sama, once this smoke dissipates, he's going to be either forced to pull back to this here island again.
Indeed. Sorry to interrupt you,
Yep,
but
go ahead.
Evo is pushing hard into A. The plan is, of course, to contest A. The problem is he's got a flanking Hindenburg that is putting some serious pressure on him. The Hindenburg is being forced back a bit, but ultimately, at close range, the Des Moines trades extremely well with the Hindenburg. At close range. At medium and long range, the Hindenburg wins the trade every time. And that's because the more consistent shells, more easier to land, and the HE that always pens. And we can see the effect it's having on Evo. Every time the volley lands, he's being chunked.
Yep.
And he's constantly being chunked down, and he's going to be permanently spotted because they have a radar if they need it.
Yeah, and the planes and...
He is contesting the cap, which is important, but Omni is still 140 points behind. He did get undetected. Will they use a radar to spot him again? That is the question. Or will they just send a bomber over?
Oh, this is a bit of a tricky position here for RNG-sama, moving back to the Omni perspective. Is he got forced out of that smoke by torpedoes, and he is now in a very fragile position. If there's any sort of crossfire available from the Montanas on the Wargaming Pay to Win side, he's in a very, very exposed position right now.
No, in fact, looking at it, well, if we look at the Wargaming Pay to Win point of view, if they got vision of him, then Master would have the opportunity to punish him right now. But there is no actual spotting on the Minotaur, so I don't think even Wargaming Pay to Win knew that he was forced out by those torps, so they never really knew to capitalize on that chance. Evo is being spotted again though, and Evo is still under such heavy pressure. This Hindenburg is just having the time of his life. The Des Moines weakness is of course that thin armor, and Hindenburg HE has no issues consistently penetrating and consistently punishing it. So Evo has already been chunked to half HP.
Yeah.
And this is a big problem. They shoot down the plane that was spotting him, but every time a plane goes in and spots him, that's more chunking down. In fact, if you look at the HP pools, Evo less than half, Minotaur half, and Wargaming Pay to Win has practically taken no damage, and they also have a 130 point lead.
Yeah, and they're doing this, they're really utilizing their 2 destroyers well, because Flambus, if we move over here to Omni perspective, he's forced to run between C, try to cap that, then they lose B, then he tries to cap that, and then he's back to C again. So he's been forced to bounce back and forth, and that kind of it shows that Wargaming Pay to Win is utilizing their 2 DDs versus the 1 DD very, very effectively so far.
Wargaming Pay to Win knows the advantage of double DDs is the fact that you can pull that one enemy DD, you can pull him thin. Yeah. He has to cover more than he's capable of covering. And oh, blind fire going into that RNG Sama smoke. Oh, no hits at all. Yep. The question is though, the Minotaur will now be in radar range. And this will be a big play if we switch to Wargaming Pay to Win. This Des Moines is being smoked into a forward position. Look, they're smoking him into a forward position. You can bet he's going to be pointing.
But the Minotaur now utilizing its radar to spot the Des Moines?
Yeah, they're counter radaring. But he radars as well, and now the Minotaur is in the open.
The race is on. Which battleship is going to land the... Oh, here comes it.
It's already ink.
Yeah.
It's already ink.
Watching.
And...
went wide. But on the other hand, the Des Moines from Wargaming Pay to Win got a lot more punished than the Minotaur.
Yeah, and Evo died in A in the meantime. Evo got completely killed in A in the meantime. So that constant chip damage that he was taking behind that island, it finally got paid its price.
Yeah.
And they managed to take him down. And that means A is now completely uncontested, which means that A is finally generating points for Wargaming Pay to Win.
Yeah.
And this puts a huge countdown timer on Omni at this point.
Yeah, they're already...
they're behind and they're falling further behind every second that goes by. And they did get some good chunking on the Des Moines, but ultimately this is the only cap they have, and it's already being contested by the gearing. And now, right now, Omni is gaining 0 points. Omni is not generating points from any source at all, and now they're even pulling the other DD from the middle down to C to help. So Omni is being pulled thin, and they don't really know how to deal with it.
Yeah, and if we look from the Omni perspective here, them losing out on the Des Moines up in A here kind of forces this Hindenburg back, and then you have the underutilized Montana, I would say, at this stage. Obviously, he's setting up to try to accomplish a crossfire with the second Montana, but still, it's a Montana at full health and 620 points.
And C is ticking over.
Yep.
C is ticking over. So the Minotaur can't really go in there and contest.
No.
Because he needs the gearing to smoke him. So that's the fundamental issue with running radar Minotaur, is that if you want to play aggressive with that, you need to have a gearing with you anyway to smoke him up. And that kind of limits the whole. It's not actually as effective as a double DD because wherever one goes, the other one has to follow.
Yeah, and it seems like Omni's response to this insane cap pressure that they're under right now is just to, let's just shove a battleship into the cap, and obviously supported by the Hindenburg runner and XTHD further south.
I mean, it's understandable in the sense that the time is against Omni.
Yeah.
I mean, this paints such a bleak picture if we look at it from Wargaming Pay to Win's view. They have all these good positions just hiding and waiting. There's even Torps going out on the Montana that they are spotted, but the problem is they will force him to turn.
Yeah.
He's going to eat one.
Definitely eating one.
And the problem, if this causes flooding, which there's a high chance of it will since it's gearing Torps, that's going to be a damage con.
That was a flooding tick right there.
Yep, that was a flooding tick. He's
flooding.
That's
more flooding ticks. And more flooding ticks.
Where's his damage con?
There it is.
He finally damage con, and now they're all going to be focusing. And if we look at the array of firepower that's going to be coming his way, we got Des Moines, Montana, Hindenburg, gearing potential follow-up Torps. They are even the Montana is shooting HE at him at the moment. They know he used the damage con. It's been called out that the damage con has been used, so there will be HE coming in from every direction. Actually.
Yeah, if we swap over quickly to Omni's point of view, this little move that they're doing through B, it was not a cautious little push.
Well, the thing is 715 points. They have to go half.
Yeah. And shoving a Minotaur up as aggressively as this, as soon as the Montana is spotted again, the Montana has two choices. Broadside the Minotaur and a Montana behind here, or broadside the second Montana. So it's like this awkward position.
T-Kane is being chunked extremely heavily.
Yep.
If we look at this point of view, he just ate massive AP, and now he's being HE hounded. He of course has no damage con because it was used. He doesn't run fire prevention. If he ran fire prevention, this fire would cover the entire superstructure. But it's only covering the backside, which means he actually has the potential of being set on fire 4 times. And even 1 fire is a problem. 2 fires, he's close to dead. 3 fires, it's a guaranteed kill. And the HE keeps coming in. He is still living though. There's Torps coming around the corner. Does the Hindenburg know? They are undetected. They are undetected.
Swap over to his point of view. Surprise, dude! Torpedoes.
Oh no! He finally sees them, but that's the worst timing.
No, 1.
But it's on the nose. That's
it's 2. That's painful.
And that's guaranteed flooding again.
And some that didn't connect.
And it's guaranteed incoming damage.
Yeah.
Des Moines AP coming in as well. You can't even see them.
Yeah.
I mean, from Omni's point of view, where is this guy going to run from this point? How is he going to get away? He's got a perma-fire, which will increase his detection massively, so they will have no issues keeping him plane spotted. And the non-stop HE spam is coming in from 2 cruisers.
Runner is pretty much guaranteed dead here.
Yeah. The fire does run out, and if he gets really lucky with the RNG... Honestly, I think, though, the Wargaming Pay to Win will sacrifice this bomber just to keep him spotted, because they know that's a kill they can secure.
Yeah, and if they get the kill, which they most likely will,
fire.
then
Wait,
that point lead that they have...
He got undetected? The planes got too close. Oh, that was a carrier misplay, I think. The planes got too close and got shut down. He did get spotted.
Look if he's gonna die or not, because he is on fire at 2,000 health.
He did get spotted.
Oh,
he actually, the fire ran out. I think his damage con might be.
Yeah, there it is. 2 health? What is this?
He actually lives, but yeah, that's not gonna live long. And they finally secure the kill. In the meanwhile, though, we have a brawl. If we switch to Omni's point of view, sorry, Wargaming Pay to Win's point of view, we actually have a brawl developing in A. Omni has managed to secure B and C in this point, so they've actually been clawing back the score, so it's only a 350 point difference. But we got a Hindenburg versus Des Moines brawl developing here, and they are both so careful. If Elegant goes ham with the Torps, he will kill him. The question is, Des Moines...
AP at that range?
Yeah.
If he wants to get his torpedoes off, he's gonna be trading a lot of health.
Elegant is also afraid of the fact that if he pushes around this island, there's going to be a lot more than just Des Moines waiting for him. The important thing is, though, that he is contesting A. And as of this moment, Wargaming Pay to Win is not generating any points. Only Omni, thanks to the B capture point, is generating any points. So this Hindenburg, even though it seems like not that intelligent of a move because he can't get any kill, is stopping the points gain. And with 4 minutes 45 seconds left, that's vital. The problem is T-Kane. Look at TKN. TKN has been chunked heavily. There's torps going his way that seem to be undetected. Oh no. TKN is about to eat.
Oh,
maybe one torp.
I see it now.
They're being detected from his point of view now, but it's gonna be... Is it gonna be one? Or is it gonna have the perfect battleship-sized gap?
No, I think that, yeah.
No!
Oh, there it is.
He tried, but
tried.
it was on the nose as well.
Yeah.
That's a flooding, probably instant damage con.
Everyone on the Wargaming pay-to-win team speaker is like, Ryan, Montana used damage control
Exactly.
party. Set him on fire.
Montana
Spam.
on 17k health has used damage con.
Yeah.
And we can see just, even the gearing is opening fire, it looks like. And this is gonna be an issue. Because even though they're not generating points, it's still only 4 minutes left, and if they get rid of the Montana, then Omni is gonna be in huge trouble. RNG Sama, though, he has been spotted doing an extremely ballsy maneuver, trying to rush them. The problem is he's rushing a Montana and a Des Moines in a Minotaur, which is...
Let's see if we can capture both of that with this perspective right here. We have TKN in the back, and the Minotaur pushing up very aggressively.
Oh, those torps are... No, they're gonna miss entirely.
Yeah,
they were actually very close to catching the
gearing,
gearing from Wargaming Pay to Win off guard, but no, they're gonna be fine. Omni is still the only team generating points, and TK... Oh no, TK got spotted again.
Yeah.
Montana HE on the way. Montana HE is in the air. Will it get the fire? That is the... Oh, the dispersion! The dispersion!
Yep.
And Omni is... The battleship is healing. So that means they have managed to claw it down to a 200-point game. It was at one point a 400-point game. They clawed down half the difference. Still 3 minutes to go. Omni is still the only team generating points. They're clawing back the distance, but they're still down a ship. They're still down a ship, and RNG Sama is in huge trouble. RNG Sama is in such huge trouble. He will get crossfired. As long as he stays spotted, the Montanas will be firing on him.
Yeah, and important note to make is that while Omni are scratching their way back into the match, points-wise, they're paying a lot of health for that. Just looking at the health bars of the two teams, you can see that, well, they're paying for every nautical measurement.
Yeah, and the one tick that they got ticking in their favor right now, the one tick, the one capture advantage, it's not enough to claw back 200 points in 2 minutes.
No.
So they need a kill.
Yeah.
They are getting some good chunking in on General Olsen, actually. From Wargaming Pay to Win, but I think he can just disengage at any point if he so wishes.
He does not see the Montana though. I mean, obviously he knows that he's there, but
he did send torps in, but I doubt they're actually going to catch anything.
No, well, actually, Flambus is there.
Oh, is it going to be the random torps? The random torps
might be. Let's swap over to his point of view.
Oh, this.
He's having a nice day.
No, I think he's going to just barely get out of the way.
Oh.
Yeah, he barely gets out of the way. If he had stuck around, that could have been nasty.
That could have been huge,
but he did actually get out of it, so that's good. But meanwhile, Montana does secure a kill, and that was Runner went down.
Flambus, torpedoes from the other side.
No, General Olsen went down. While we were focused on that, General Olsen went down. It's actually a 60-point game at this point.
All right, let's go back to Wargaming Pay to Win.
Indeed. It's actually a 60-point game at this point, and still the only one gaining points is Omni. It's 1 minute, 8 seconds left. Oh, but Elegant is being pushed by the Des Moines. Elegant is being pushed so hard by the Des Moines and the Hindenburg. He's going to go for the YOLO. He's going for the YOLO torps right now. Uh-oh. 55 seconds left. If he manages to get the kill...
Yeah, but he's going to have to give that Des Moines that angle.
Yeah, and he doesn't want to do it. And the Des Moines, the difference in how high the guns are is paying a huge difference here. You can see the Des Moines can actually shoot over the island, but when he shoots back, he keeps hitting the island, so he has to change the target. Oh no, that small island is just high enough, that he can't shoot over it. Oh no, this is actually such a hard counter.
There he goes.
He finally is able to land some shells, but that was the troll island. That was the troll beach that just completely crushed his dreams. And at this point, we have a 150 point difference with 15 seconds left.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's any possible way for Omni to come back from this.
No.
Wargaming Pay to Win took an early, confident lead.
I mean,
and
it's...
They never looked like they... I mean, it got close towards the end, but that was mostly because they were playing so safe. Look at their health. Look at their health pools.
Yeah.
They are so healthy, all of them.
And it's important to note that that's usually how Omni plays. Like, the whole bleeding... Because, yeah, sure, they might give up the early cap pressure. in favor of position, but then they regain those caps and then they kind of strangle the opposition.
Yeah, I mean, giving up the caps is something Omni does a lot.
Yeah.
The problem was, can they afford to play that style against Wargaming Pay to Win?
Obviously not. I think
I mean,
they're going to
this was
respect
just the
the early
first
game
map. Yeah.
a lot more now.
This was just the first map, but Wargaming Pay to Win, they got the lead, and they never gave it up. They never even got close to giving it up.
No.
They were in the lead from the very start to the very end of the game. And health-wise, they had the advantage. Ship-wise, they had the advantage. This was Wargaming Pay to Win putting on a show.
Yeah, and we saw the double DD being utilized really well.
Yeah, they pulled Flambas back and forth. They went to B, and he goes back there to cover it. Then they go to C instead, and they're capping both. He can't decide what he wants to do. And I understand they wanted to use RNG Sama's Minotaur as some sort of capping power, but Radar Minotaur can't go anywhere without that gearing smoke. So essentially, they were a group. They weren't individual ships, but they were a group.
Yeah. All right.
Right. Should we send it over to the desk and let them analyze a bit?
Yeah, and we're gonna try something new.
Oh?
Yeah.
Are we?
I think we are.
I don't know. Let's send it over to the desk first.
We
Are
try
we
to.
in it?
Oh, picture in picture. Oh,
Yeah.
fancy,
Talk to
fancy,
them now.
fancy.
Yeah. What do you guys think about that last game?
That game, like, I don't know if you could tell from your perspective, but we were all sitting on the edge of our seats. I saw our stream technicians getting quite excited in between. That was quite a game. Very, very well played to Wargaming Pay to Win. They dominated that match, and I have to say my favorite move of this tournament so far was that initial bait and switch. Let's park 2 meters outside of the cap. Let's let Omni take it, and let's let Omni believe that they have the cap secure. You could see the Strangers was providing really heavy air cover for Flamus to be able to take that cap. And when Flamus moved away, and all the air cover moved away as well, and he rededicated it somewhere else, and they immediately pounced in and stole the cap. That was a fantastic move. I really enjoyed that.
I have to question that Evo Des Moines push into A though. They obviously had a plan. They wanted to use that radar. They wanted to put pressure in there. But the fundamental issue became, once the Hindenburg opened up, where was the follow-up? Because he just sat there and he got chipped down, he got chipped down, he got chipped down, and he got killed. And it seemed like they had no counter. They had no one to smoke. They had nowhere he could hide. They had no one who could show up and help defend him. He kind of was left there to die. And it seemed like it's such an unnecessary loss of such a strong ship so early on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the problem was that usually, if you go into a cap like this, you usually have an exit strategy. But this move was not. It didn't have any exit strategy. It's just like we're going to push into A, and we're going to stay there. It's basically just going to lock down this cap by just parking a ship there. But it didn't really work. And I love that little fight around that island at the end with Elegant, which would have been. If it would have been Evo in that position, he could have countered it. But still, I don't know. They lost the cap on A, and then they also took some unnecessary damage on C. And I don't think that the Minotaur was the best pick for this scenario, I would say.
No, and it goes to show how desperate they became at the end when they were using the Minotaur to just... Yeah, sure, he was getting gearing smoke, but the Minotaur running wild like that, you don't see that a lot. Because it's such a fragile ship.
I did mention it that I didn't think it was the best map for the Minotaur.
No.
Because it has like two positions you can use it, between B and C and the island of A. I think if they would have played it at the island of A with the Hydra constantly spotting the other side to basically do to the enemy what they did to Evo, I think that would have actually been a strong play. But playing it down there where he constantly has to rely on the Flambas smoke and they really don't get anything out of it, and with the double DD just pulling them back and forth, it felt like wasted resources, just like the Des Moines. Both the Minotaur and Des Moines felt like wasted resources.
Hey, what do you think about Elegant at the beginning, the second Hindenburg that was helping on A? Because he couldn't really apply any damage early on, while Wargaming Pay to Win was actually able to apply the damage to...
wasn't it?
Yeah, I think like it looked like they had two different plans. Evo's side wanted to push into the cap and contest it, and Elegant wanted to play safe. Whereas the enemy team, they seemed to have pretty clear positions what they wanted to use, and Evo just got outnumbered in firepower, and Elegant couldn't really contribute in any way. It was...
He was stuck behind the island, just no angle.
Yeah.
And they can also see the level of gameplay from both of the teams, because Wargaming Pay to Win, they could have been baited into pushing, but they never committed to that. They knew they were in the better position, and they just stayed there. And they just went for the damage over time, and they knew they can just take them down. And it worked out.
Yeah.
And also the CVs respotting the SAO after it took torpedoes. Like, I mean, you expect it, but still, it's like having the planes in the right place at the right time to actually just support the ships and taking down the enemy ships. Really well played. So
yeah,
good job, Wargame Pay to Win.
It looks as though we're getting ready for game number 2. Should start in about 2 minutes on Trap. Now, I mean, Trap's always a tricky one to play. Which cap do you go for? A and C both in tricky positions. B with so much exposure, but then that strong island in the middle. I'm really interested to see what they make of it.
Especially because it takes so much time to reposition. That's in general your problem. You cannot simply just reposition your forces within a minute. It's like you commit to one side, and then if you have to change the plan, it will take 2-3 minutes. Yeah. And that is the time that the caps are going to work against you if you don't have them.
One of the important notes to make here is also that it was Wargaming Pay to Win's map pick.
That is important.
Islands of Ice. So obviously they were very confident going into that. Now we're going over to Trap, which is OMNI's pick, if I'm reading this right.
Yeah. Nice, so let's see what they're going to do.
I mean, they are showing the ship lineups here. So we got the double DD again from Wargaming Pay to Win. Not surprisingly, that worked out really well. We have a Moskva for longer range radar, double Hindenburg again, double Montana. Once again, I would say pretty standard setups.
Yeah. And from OMNI, we have the one gearing again, trying that 1DD life.
Indeed.
It worked against them the last map, but we'll see what they can do here on Trap. The double SAO, Hindenburg, Moscow, and double Montanas, as well as the Hakuryu.
Double SAO is interesting. I mean,
yeah,
it does offer more roaming, and it kind of doubles as a capping cruiser in that sense that it's got really good concealment.
Yeah.
It's significantly more self-sustainable than the Minotaur is, though.
Yeah.
But it does lack radar. So, ultimately, wait, they only have the Moskva as the radar, don't they?
Oh, seems like... Oh, there we go. Second gearing just joined.
Second
I missed
gearing.
that we didn't have all players.
So they are switching to the double DD setup.
Yeah.
I think
that would make a lot of sense.
I think that was just an approach they were trying for Islands of Ice.
Yeah.
And it was Wargaming Pay to Win's map pick.
Yeah.
So obviously they wanted to try some sort of counter tactic to it. I don't know, but the first game, I have to say, that was the Wargaming Pay to Win show. Absolutely,
for sure,
it was their
for sure.
show. Like OMNI tried, but looking at the health pools alone, I don't think it was ever a close game at all.
No, I mean OMNI did what they could, but it was just like Wargaming Pay to Win had all they needed in order to counter.
Yeah, the way they just pulled them, like they contested A. I think they got a bit of a free kill at A, which probably shouldn't have happened, and that made the fact that instead of just two Des Moines contesting A on both sides of the island, they were gaining points from it.
Yeah,
that was pretty huge. That's why the kill was. The kill gave a lot more than just the points because they also started generating the points as soon as he died. So at that point, they just could use the two gearings, B and C.
Yeah.
B and C constantly contesting, constantly harassing, and Flambaz, well, good luck trying to fight two DDs on two different caps at the same time. It's never going to work out.
That's a lot of weight on the shoulders. Anyway, we're about to go into Trap with Wargaming Pay to Win, having won over OMNI. So it's a 1-0 there.
Indeed. Doing the ritual suicide as usual.
Yep.
Right, let's see.
Ritual trying to find your own carrier.
Indeed. Trying to locate the own carrier for the scouting purposes. There we go. Oh, stop. No, I don't want to go to the plane. I want to go to the carrier. Does it always go for you? It starts following the first plane as well?
The first plane, yeah.
Yeah, the first plane every single time.
All right.
And
you want to do it first?
Sure. Wargaming Pay to Win. Using their double DD setup to send one early gearing towards B, and the second gearing being sent towards A, with actually a pretty good force, Des Moines, Hindenburg, and the Montana supporting them. The rest of the team, Hindenburg, Moskva, Montana, being sent towards C. So we got the typical spread going from both sides here.
And from OMNI's perspective, that's a lot of boats going up north. A lot of them. One gearing, obviously trying to make plays into B, contest or cap that. And then second gearing going to C. Along with Moscow, Zhao, Hindenburg, Montana.
It's interesting that OMNI is not dedicating any destroyer to A at all.
I mean, obviously that's they have this roaming element of a Montana and a Zhao to stall or prevent the Wargaming Pay to Win to or wrap around on the outside here. So, it's gonna Dudasu, are you gonna reverse into the cap? Nope, he's not about that life.
Oh, he's
confirmed.
charging in fully. But Wargaming Pay to Win on the other side already have a DD in there. So we got the classic stalemate.
Yeah.
Both DDs on both sides. The difference is Ashwell hasn't used his smoke yet.
Yep.
But there is the Moskva threat. So if the Moskva manages to sneak up close enough, the difference between Moskva and Des Moines when it comes to radar is of course that Des Moines has a radar range of 9.9, whereas Moskva has a range of 11.7. And on a map with these huge capture points, that additional radar range will allow him to spot Ashwell. I think Ashwell realizes this himself because the Moskva has been spotted down there, so they know the threat is there. So wisely, he just smokes up and pulls back, and they got their own Moskva to counter. So why both teams picked the Moskva is being displayed quite well here on exactly
it's like a
mirror images.
We can swap to the Omni perspective. Yeah, gearing Moscow and then back to Wargaming Pay to Win.
Gearing Moscow.
Gearing Moscow.
It's a meta for a reason, and that's of course the radar being able to reach is so very strong, and the gearing being able to smoke up the cruiser is so strong. Meanwhile, though, Wargaming Pay to Win is contesting A with the Des Moines, and because of this island position, I don't really know what they can do about it.
No,
probably
we can go
not much. Chrysanthus, please stop dropping things. Thank you.
We can go over to the Omni perspective, and we see nothing towards A. They're not interested in pushing A. They're not interested in... The only thing these two ships are here is for skirmishing and setting up the crossfires for later game.
Omni
stalling them out.
Omni is having a better opener in that sense, though, that they are contesting C, though. Yeah. And in fact, looking at Wargaming Pay to Win, they have no interest in that cap. Yeah, absolutely zero interest.
So it's kind of a mirror.
Yeah, it's going to be a trade.
Yeah.
Omni will secure C, Wargaming Pay to Win will secure A. And as is typical on Trap, the major fight is going to be all over B. Yep. It's going to be all about that B cap. First cap, Wargaming Pay to Win does get the cap first. And that can be, well, I'd say it's a very small advantage right now, but we have seen that those kinds of advantages can grow rapidly.
Yeah, let's swap over to El Dudazo and the Omni gearing right here, because that's a sneaky carrier drop.
Oh.
It was a long-range drop.
Yeah, I think the idea wasn't actually to hit him. I think the idea was just to force him out, and that's really, really smart play from...
yeah, they were also blind shooting and decapping him.
Exactly, a smart play from Stubb. He probably knew the Torps weren't going to hit anything, but they forced him out, and in the meantime, they're pushing their own DD into the cap. So now it's in their favor that the cap is flipping. So it's going to be a struggle over that B cap for sure. That's going to be the focal point of this game, absolutely.
Yeah, and from Omni we also have these two cruisers, the Hindenburg and the Zaur, like wrapping all the way around C. Just setting up, and if Wargaming Pay to Win makes any moves into C, they'll be in a position to punish that.
I mean, Wargaming Pay to Win though, they're not actually giving them a fight if you look at their point of view. The Hindenburg, he's just sitting. His job here is to delay, harass, but he's not going to be picking any sort of direct fights. He's just going to be harassing and delaying them as much as possible. He does have a Montana. They are pulling the Montana north to help him out. But ultimately, their goal is not to take C. Their goal is to delay them.
Yep.
The big fight, is B actually going to go into Wargaming Pay to Win's favor?
Omni has nothing set up to counter it either.
There's
a fair amount of torps coming in from Omni, from both the south side of the island and from the north.
There's nothing to hit because as soon as they have the cap, they leave it. So those torps are just basically going to hit thin air, and that's of course smart play. Why sit in the cap if you don't need to? They are pulling the second gearing though, General Olsen. They are pulling it back towards B. The Des Moines is just going to sit, I guess, and secure A. The Hindenburg, he is smoked up to harass the Moskva. Evo side again, being the recipient of the heavy early pressure. And do they have a smoke for him, or are they just going to hope that he will be able to
There is a gearing coming in. We can swap over and check that perspective out. So Flambus is on his way, presumably having his smoke ready, and he's probably going to smoke from the Moscow leading into the cap, so you can utilize the smoke. Part 1, cover the Moscow, and Part 2, trying to disrupt the cap.
Battleship AP chunks him though. That's the problem with nose in Moskva. If they hit the nose of your ship, it can overmatch the armor. And it doesn't matter how well you're angled, if it hits the nose, it's always going to overmatch it. And that's of course the struggle of the Moskva. Very tanky if it hits anything else except the nose. Well, and the Citadel of course. In general though, the points gain is steadily ticking in Wargaming Pay to Win's favor. and they are already 60 points ahead.
Yeah, I'm a little bit interested to see what Omni is going to do with these ships here. These three. Because obviously they peeled off one of the DDs. So probably looking to make somewhat of a play towards A, or at least trying to get in there and prevent the cap or the point bleed that they have right now.
Indeed. In general, Wargaming Pay to Win are playing very passive. They don't really seem to have too much of a... Like, they're willing to just trade evenly at B.
Yeah.
And so far, it's been working out really well for them.
And yet again...
Flambass briefly spotted.
Yeah, he got forced out by torpedoes.
Indeed.
Oh,
Battleship AP, no hits.
Yep.
But this kind of constant trading, it might not look like much, like, oh well, they're doing a bit of chip damage. But the thing is, the points are steadily growing in Wargaming Pay to Win's favor. We are 12 minutes into the game, Wargaming Pay to Win just broke over 500 points. And Omni is steadily falling behind. And soon they're falling behind so far that even one kill won't be enough. They will need multiple kills just to even the score.
And when you think about how long Flambass was forced out of the cap, that's just how many points it bleeds. Like, what is that? 30, 40 points or so?
Yeah, what is interesting from, if we look at the other point of view, is that TK is actually pushing straight through the middle. And this, of course, opens up a new angle on the B cap. And more importantly, they are clearly threatening, this Omni push is clearly threatening to go through. We do have Torps heading towards TK, but no, they're going to miss by a mile. And this is some very aggressive battleship play. I guess Omni realized that they need to make a play, they need to make something happen.
And they need to do it earlier than they did last match.
Indeed. But they actually are in a pretty good position here with all the cruiser support and the battleship pushing in. If they manage to force back Wargaming Pay to Win, B will naturally fall because they are able to put so much pressure on from the north. And that's obviously their plan here, to envelop B and secure it basically just by superior firepower.
Is there going to be a contest here from Wargaming Pay to Win on B?
We're actually looking, and no, General Olsen is pulling back entirely. I wonder if he's... See, he's worried. And he's worried for a reason. If he tries to contest right now, if he goes into the cap and contests, Moskva radars, Battleship AP. And that's like the DD nightmare right there. So I think Omni, with the help of this Montana pressure, they will actually be able to secure the B capture point.
Yeah, we can have a look at Flambass doing his work right here. Basically, again, making sure that he's sitting nose out so he can quickly get out of there if needed.
They're not even spotting him with bombers, they're just giving that up. They're gonna give up B. They managed to gain a 100-point lead before they gave up B. The question is, can they punish Omni for how far this battleship pushed? And he's
we
still
have
going.
this little weird thing. Oh, smoke just rendered in. Okay, that makes more sense then.
Indeed.
Do you think that the gearing in the Zao will be enough to contest A or to harass? Maybe the objective here is just to pull off more firepower from Wargaming Pay to Win. Looking at it, you have a Des Moines, and I lost, so we can go over to you. And then
I mean, looking from Wargaming Pay to Win's perspective, they are pulling back like really deep. In fact, look how far back these ships are. Gearing, Hindenburg, Montana, they've all pulled back all the way. So they have been given up all this C map control. They're kind of given up.
Yeah.
They are trying to make TK pay for it. They're trying to make him bleed and pay for this because they do have this buffer because they held B for so long. They have the points lead and they got the buffer that they can use to their advantage. The problem is though that buffer will not last long, and if they can't make Omni pay for it, they're going to be in trouble because the closer we get to that 1,000 points, the more pressure every point adds.
Oh yeah.
And like having 100 points lead when you have 400 to 300 is completely different to having 100 points lead when you're 800 to 700. It's night and day difference in just like how much pressure it puts on you. Especially, you got to consider Omni is behind a point or behind a map. If they lose this game, Wargaming Pay to Win is on match point.
Yep. That's gonna add a lot of pressure.
Indeed. Some Battleship AP running in on the Moskva and the Gearing, who are being forced even further back. This Montana, this TK pressure, this non-stop pressure, it's completely nullifying this point, and it's actually huge. The problem is they're punishing him.
Yeah, he's gonna...
This is the thing with this push is that if he doesn't get enough support from his team, they will not be able to sustain it. And it's finally starting to collapse.
Oh, Battleship AP, almost full broadside. Oh, that's a 16k.
And that's going to be the kill. See, I already thought there was extremely ballsy to just push up north of B. The fact that he pushed past B into their spawn, that was, I think, a big mistake.
Yeah.
I think that was a misplay. I understand the aggression, and he was getting such good results with this push. In fact, Omni almost about to take the lead. The problem is, once he pushes past the island, he gets crossfired from everywhere. There's no real support to be able to help him. He does have his heal, but he is on fire. Oh, but here comes the carrier drop. The planes are being strafed down, but it's not enough, and he does, in fact, go down.
Yeah, and his, if we go over to the only perspective here, if we look, these two cruisers, the Hindenburg and the Zhao, I guess that was the reason of the perceived safety he had in his push, and maybe didn't anticipate this Montana being able to chunk him as he turned.
Indeed.
Yeah.
But Omni still has the capture point lead.
Yeah.
But the problem is, the points they just clawed back, they're going to have to claw back again. And this time, that Montana threat is gone. And the Montana threat being gone means the Moskva will be able to push back into position at B. The gearing will feel, if you look at here, we can already see that the gearing is probably going to inch his way back into the B cap, because the big blapping threat of the Montana has been entirely removed. So we're going to absolutely see Wargaming Pay to Win contest B. There's that Montana was what pushed him away. The Montana has been dealt with. Oh, so
hold on.
Where did that volley come from?
No. I missed the Evo side eating torpedoes in his smoke.
No, General Olsen ate Battleship AP, I think, from the Montana of Potent. But Evo side is, in fact, very low. He's being forced back. Oh, those torps are spotted, and there should be no issues dodging them. But we got this entire force of Wargaming Pay to Win, the one that played so safe and gave up all that sea control. They're now pushing back. And the thing is, they made Omni bleed for all the map control they got. And now they're pushing back. Oh, interesting. A is contested.
Yeah. That's that. I've been in, like, looking at it a little bit, but if we go over to the Omni point of view, they've had this gearing of El Dudasu, as well as the Hindenburg, lurking as far south as you can go on this map. And they've just been waiting to do something like this.
Plane spotting, the gearing does get spotted. I think it's radar. They might be forcing him out of the cap with that. Yeah, it is radar. And now it's plane spotting as well. So the Hindenburgs do open up on him, and some good hits. Oh man. If the Des Moines pushes up, he would get hit torps. So no, he's playing it safe. They're leaving the Hindenburg to deal the damage to the DD, and they force him out. The points are extremely even though.
Yeah, and it's like this. Where is it gonna go? Like, looking at it from your point of view, you have the two Montanas of a Wargaming Pay to Win. They're kind of out of position in a little bit. Like they can work the Zhao and the Hindenburg from Omni, but I mean, this is gonna be one of those matches that comes down to
Omni still has the 2-point lead though.
Yeah.
The 2 capture point lead, that is. It's a 25-point game, 5 minutes left, and Omni is still generating points. General Olsen is gonna be contesting B. He's not quite inside. You have the middle point of the ship has to cross the line, and he's just far enough outside. Does he not notice? He's not contesting it.
Oh god.
He's not contesting or capping.
Oh, this could be a little bit of a misplay.
Is this a misplay or is this planned? Because he's afraid of the plane
Meanwhile,
spotting.
though,
There's
his
a lot of
torpedoes
planes.
going in towards Flambus in the smoke, that should be an easy dodge.
Indeed. But this is, going back to here, this is actually a big issue. But does he not realize that he's actually not contesting the cap? He was contesting, but he glided just so the middle part of the ship went on the outside. And he's not contesting.
Now
he reverses and contests now.
But that was more time than
that gave Omni the lead. Omni has taken the lead. Omni is actually now ahead by 17 points. That small misplay puts all the pressure on Wargaming Pay to Win now.
Yeah, and again, their ships are a bit out of position. I think what we're going to see here in less than a minute is the classic situation where, you know, the team scrambles to just kill anything in order to sway the points.
All caps are contested.
Yeah.
No, B is once again, Ashwell gets forced out, so every time this happens, they generate a few more points for Omni's favor. Looking at the health pool, it's all in Wargaming Pay to Win's favor.
Yeah.
But the points, Omni's favor. And is Ashwell really going to get away with this cap? If he manages to secure C, then Omni is in trouble. 3 minutes 30 left. 840 to 880. Yep. Evo is low.
Evo is really low.
The problem is Wargaming Pay to Win has almost no one who's low. They have been playing so intelligently with their ships. When they take pressure, they play it safe.
Yeah.
And when they can apply pressure, well, you've seen the type of pressure they've been applying. They've been playing this very calculated, very calm-paced gameplay. And
I think it's a radar down by A, forcing Dudasu out here. If you can
C falls into Wargaming Pay-to-Win's hands, and they got a 50-point lead they have to claw back. But with all the presence and all the pressure they have on C, it's Omni can't contest it.
Yeah.
And
I think this is the radar down in A.
Oh?
Yeah. Dudasu spotted where he shouldn't be, so I think that's the Des Moines radar. And
They're
he's being forced out, and it's
more
like,
points.
Yeah, more points. It's like this inching contest.
Indeed, and Omni is Wargaming Pay-to-Win is contesting B, so Omni isn't generating. At this point, Omni generates no points.
Yeah.
Wargaming Pay-to-Win generates points from 2 caps, and that means 14-point game.
Yeah, I'm not sure where
11-point game,
man.
8-point game.
You know how this is gonna go. It's gonna explode, and we're gonna be sitting there for like 2 seconds trying to figure out
2-point game.
what happened.
Wargaming Pay-to-Win with 2 minutes 20 seconds left take the lead in the match.
Yep.
904 to 900, and it's all on Omni's shoulders now. And look at Evo side's health. Look at the Dust's health.
Yeah.
They are all scrambling to get anything
And
done.
you, like you said, Wargaming Pay-to-Win has no ships that are like, oh, we can kill that easily, and maybe we can still.
Indeed, like how do they get the clutch kill? The problem is they can't because actually Garanthor. What happened to Garanthor? He just ate a massive chunking. Is that the Hindenburg down here? The Hindenburg just got chunked by the Montana across the map. This could be a possible play if they manage to kill him. The problem is if the Zhao tries to pressure this Hindenburg, which is the Des Moines AP, Zhao AP. Some really good hits. XTHD landing some really clutch AP hits, but it's 950 to 906. A is contested. B and C are both generating points. 1 minute 20 seconds left. Garanthor, stop shooting. He's gonna get undetected. And Evo.
There's the kill.
That was the pressure they put on earlier. That was the pressure.
Worried because I was about to mention it earlier, but then he reversed into cover. It's like they need to keep that. They need to keep him safe.
Yeah,
because he was down so low. And that was the Moscow from Omni that was on the south side of the B cap.
Indeed.
That died there just at the end.
I mean, it was the pressure they put on earlier.
Yeah. And Wargaming Pay-to-Win 2-0 right now against Omni.
Indeed. And I mean, they are in the finals for a reason.
Yep.
They are a very strong team. But 2-0? I would say that is a bit surprising.
Yep.
2-0 as a result.
And it's been convincing as well.
That's the thing. Have we seen Wargaming Pay-to-Win make any real clear mistakes?
That is a good question.
And I can't really think of any. Every time they win, the health pools are 70-80%.
Yeah.
They're all playing safe. If they die, they're trading.
Yeah.
Like it's
convincing.
Very convincing.
Yeah.
I mean, what does the disc think?
Yeah.
The only misplay I spotted at all was that situation where the gearing was just like a centimeter out of cap.
That's a fair
and
point.
you know, had they not been able to take the C cap, that could have would have potentially cost them the game. So that was, I think, quite big that they didn't notice it. But I guess in the heat of battle, it's a tricky one. Otherwise, I agree. Like flawless gameplay.
Yeah, I thought
perfect.
I was wondering why he's actually trying to bait the torpedoes. Basically, pretend that he left the cap so that maybe Flambus is not paying attention to torpedoes. But what I really liked is the position of the Des Moines on A, because it basically held its position, and Omni dedicated 2 ships to kind of lurk around A, but they were never able to either contest it. They put Eldodasu in a very late stage of the game into the A cap, but they're never really able to apply pressure that much that it actually made a difference. And in the meantime, even though it looked like Wargaming Pay-to-Win is pulling back, they actually managed to push Tekane, and I think he overextended.
He did.
In my opinion, if he would have turned into B, that would have probably helped, because then they could have pushed through B maybe. But he was just out there for the entire like the majority of the team from Wargaming Pay-to-Win just open to shoot. It's like it was an unnecessary sacrifice. The initial push was really nice and it gave them the opportunity to go for B, but then he made the wrong choice to try to sit next to the island. And Wargaming Pay-to-Win, good decision to pull the Montana back.
They did it because of this. They saw the Montana's going to come through, he's going to overextend, and they were gambling on it, and they pulled the Montana back and got ready to blap him, and they did.
Yeah, I think though the two Montanas from Wargaming Pay to Win being so far pulled back is one of the only reasons why this game was so close. I mentioned it when it was 5 minutes left of the match, maybe, that they're kind of out of position.
Yeah, they could have gotten a bit closer, I think.
Yeah,
especially with the hit points they still had.
TK though, if TK had just after they got the B pressure, just turn around and flee. I would have been perfectly okay with that play. He came there to put pressure on B to capture it. They captured it. He can turn right around and play it
or
safe.
just reverse.
Yeah, anything, but pushing into a crossfire into the enemy spawn, like I can't say I like that play. It just smelled like suicidal, like desperation play. And the thing is, there was no reason for them to be desperate. They hadn't lost any ships.
Yeah.
But it was still smelled like a
I don't
desperation
know.
play.
Maybe it felt for T-Candy that the kind of pressure he applied there is actually making Wargaming Pay to Win lose their battle plan, but they just reacted in the right way.
Yeah,
So
they fell back. The Moskva peeled back with the gearing. They got in smoke. They got ready to add additional pressure onto the Montana. They did a really good play overall.
Yeah.
Can we talk a bit about the upcoming maps? So first map was
before that.
Yes.
You guys get to do that, and we get to go for a little walk.
Oh,
Yeah, absolutely.
We're gonna leave
it
that.
to the casters.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But just because, can you quickly, just because I don't have the
Oh,
don't have
the
the info
picks.
yet. The picks. So first map was
First
Islands of
map
Ice.
was Islands of Ice, and
Wha-
that was
There we
Wargaming
go.
Pay to Win's map,
yes.
and they won that. Then OMNI picks Trap. Wargaming Pay to Win wins that, and now we're gonna go to Warrior's Path.
Which is a Wargaming Pay to Win pick
Yeah.
again.
And OMNI chooses the south spawn.
I mean,
Okay.
you gotta looking at it like that though. You gotta think Wargaming Pay to Win is this close
To
to having it in
3-0.
the bag. Yeah.
But that that being said, we are talking about Omni. And
Yeah, they tend to lose the first game, but losing 2 games,
yeah, it's on the brink, and this is also the reason why they're taking a break now. So we're going to have like 15 to 20 minutes to just analyze a little bit while we let Flamu and Izzo catch a breath after these 2 intense matches. And yes, a Warriors Path. That's going to be an interesting map to go for. It's Wargaming Pay to Win's pick, but Omni should be able to deal with this.
I'm sure. Look, the Omni is. They are extremely experienced, and you can bet that they have a lot of experience playing Warriors Path, just alone from King of the Sea tournament, and that after the picks were done, Omni is the kind of team that after the picks were done, and those were done sometime last week, quite early, so they've actually had a couple of days to prepare for these maps, and you can bet that they've gone and they've made a game plan on how to take on Wargaming Pay to Win. But right now, just the consistency that Wargaming Pay to Win have shown, and the way they've just been able to conserve their overall hit points, and their like really calm, calculated play. I don't know.
It's discipline.
I'm still thinking they're going to win, but I might not be right with my 3-2. They might go with a 3-1 or
I hope that Omni
3-0.
shapes up to actually pick up that fight and go back, because
I want to
I'm
see
sure-
game 4 and 5. That's
Yes,
for sure.
yes.
Like we've been having.
I'm sure there's some shouting going on TeamSpeak, because Omni is a clan that are very, very clear about how they present their criticism within their team. But that's their team way of doing things. They're just like, there's not like putting any blame on anyone. They just try to figure out how to win the next match and figure out why they lost it.
Yeah.
So I think now taking like a 15 to 20 minute break, it's going to give them some time to maybe
process.
counter that, because they see that Wargaming Pay to Win plays so methodically and slow, step by step, trying to get the points where they're necessary, but to not overcommit. And I think maybe they can
Throw a wrench in the works.
Exactly. No, maybe put some pressure where Wargaming Pay to Win is not really comfortable with that pressure. Because so far it looked very comfortable, the way they won these games. So we'll have to see what's going to happen in the next match. I mean, both teams have really, really great players, and I mean, Wargaming Pay to Win, they're out for blood. They want to have this win.
Absolutely.
The past 2 King of the Seas, they didn't make it into the final match, and now they're here, and they want to go against the top team from NA.
Yeah, we asked the teams to submit a bit of information about themselves, about the team and their history before we went into this. Among that, of course, here the lineups, but they've also said, so Wargaming Pay to Win specifically come out and said that whether they win or they lose, for them in their team speak, they never have any rage, they never have any salt, they just enjoy playing. So, while to be honest, I believe them, but I think it's probably overly optimistic for like a finals of King of the Sea. So they probably, like, if they were down now, they'd probably be a little down.
No. I think they're probably not a team that is like raging and shouting at each other.
No.
Like, but overall, there's so much tension. Everyone who like played like a competitive match in whatever sport, they will know that like your adrenaline is here. You want to win, and you're so close to winning, and you don't want to make any mistakes. And especially, like, I'm sure that, for example, when General Olsen wasn't in the B cap, there was something going on in TeamSpeak that why is B generating points? It shouldn't be. And I mean, you're going to point it out, and it may be a little bit more heated than usual, and like the calm voice, we say like, hey, General Olsen, could you maybe just reverse a little bit into the cap? You're just a friendly reminder. I don't think that's happening, to be honest. But I think every team has its own style. Like I know from my personal experience being part of Omni how that communication works, and I think for a lot of teams that would be a mess because everyone is just like shouting in bits and pieces of information to get the full clear picture that nothing is missed, because you do have an FC who's trying to coordinate all of the efforts, but there's so many things going on at the same time. You need people to give input, and each team deals with that in a different fashion, and sometimes just being a little bit quicker with communication can make the difference. And I think Wargaming Pay to Win apparently has a really good communication going on. How to, like, who makes the decision to actually move the Montana? It was a really good decision, and it needs someone with quite some balls to say, okay, you know what, we'll leave A with the Montana, because the Montana was basically covering A in a way that, okay, if Omni tries to push the Des Moines, we have something to counter it, because there's no battleship down there. And then to just pull it away to maybe potentially go for C and go for that lonely Montana. Good decision and good communication. So I'm really impressed by Wargaming Pay to Win. It's not a surprise, but still that it looks this clear and controlled. I'm impressed. Well played. Well played.
Very well done. Let's talk a bit about what we have Trap upcoming. No, we have
Warriors Path.
Warriors Path upcoming right now. So let's talk a little bit about Warriors Path. What do you think is going to be game plan?
I think when it comes to, I mean, Omni is picking apparently the southern spawn, which means I think they're going for BC, unless they want to skirmish around A. But the difficulty with that map is that you have B and C is clustered so much with islands, and there's only one way to push into B, and you actually need to make sure that if you want to play around that area, that you secure all of these choke points. And I think we saw that in the first match we had today on Warriors Path with ALN, that you can just also get completely lost in there with pushing only one Moscow, for example, put it there, it's not going to cut it. So how much are they going to actually contribute, like when it comes to actual numbers of ships to get C? Or are they going to pull off something completely crazy, maybe go AB? I don't know, we'll have to see. I think that Omni is the kind of clan who can come up with a new strategy on the fly, but I'm sure that Wargaming Pay to Win has a very good game plan for this. They picked this map.
Especially since it's their pick, yeah, absolutely.
And most teams on that level, they have like several strategies they can apply, because it's not like they played this map once, twice, or three times. They played against various different teams with different strategies, and they know, like, you learn from each mistake and from each loss. So I'm curious, especially also when it comes to the ship picks. What ships are they going to pick? Are they going double DD again, or are they maybe going for more cruisers?
I kind of feel like Omni's going to pull something out of the bag that we haven't seen before. Maybe I'm wrong, but I kind of, because they've tried the usual standard, the setup. The first one was a bit unusual with that Minotaur in there. I think the guys discussed it at length. Wasn't the best pick for that, because you don't have the independence, and it gets too easily punished by basically anything with AP if you show any broadside. But maybe they'll go for something else. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure I'm expecting them to go for like a double DD setup again. Maybe I think I don't expect a big change in their setup. I think they're probably going to stick with the 2DDs and hope that Wargaming Pay to Win might just be a little bit too like careful, because Wargaming Pay to Win, they're in a position where they're not going to overcommit, but they might play a little bit too careful. So we'll have to see.
I really want to see like a full series of 5 here. Both these games have been, I mean, WGP2W has won them decisively, but it was still close.
Well,
and
you say decisively, but at the end of the day, it was still like, for example, the last match, it was down to like 50, 60 points. They OMNI could have won if they maybe would have pushed a little bit earlier or not pushed with the Montana that much. But
what I mean with decisively is, this is watching it, I don't think there was any way really for OMNI to pull it back against a team as disciplined as WGP to win.
No, not with the way they played.
Because there were no mistakes being made. There was nothing to exploit. So there was, and they didn't seem to have a strat. But we'll see.
It also,
it's
for me, the thing I see a lot is it boils down to discipline as a player. If you play in a competitive environment, for example, your Battleship player or the DD player that we saw on the first match of ALN, it's very hard to make the decision. Sometimes you do not ask for permission; you just do because your team trusts you, and you have to make that call. Am I going to stay in that cap? Am I going to reverse into it? Am I going to go out? And also, as a Battleship player, you take a beating. Like each of these battleships, they soak up damage of like 160, 170k. And you have to really be conservative with your health in a way that you have to save up enough to be able to make it into the late game, but also not to be too far away from the battle to still apply that heavy damage with the battleship.
Big shout out as well to Taki, who is roaming around in the background here, I think. He's been up in Twitch chat. I've seen him the whole time. Got Twitch chat running around there. Unfortunately, guys, because we're on a delay, it's a little bit hard to do any kind of interaction, communication, especially with the games coming in. So we do usually try to do better, but it's the way it is on a competitive stream.
Yeah.
He is lurking in the back. He has to lower down a bit so we can see him. Like, go down, yes.
Oh, there it is. Oh, it's a wild Taki.
We've got far too many ridiculous props and just like random stuff lying around this office.
Troll staff as well.
Yeah. Like I don't even know what he's wearing there. But who knows?
Yeah. So we got 5 more minutes left. So what is going to happen tomorrow for those who don't know?
Yeah. So tomorrow we're going to see the international finals. The way we've usually done these kind of events is we've had a King of the Sea. The Americans have run something called Warship Supremacy League. Both of them community organized events. And then we've had a couple of server clashes where we've just basically said, hey, you know, you guys bring your top 3 teams, we bring our top 3 teams. And it's been a little bit ad hoc, and it's also been hard because the Warship Supremacy League has maybe played different rules set, different format. So this time we decided to do the approach differently, and we reached out to the Warship Supremacy League guys early on, and we said, hey, we want to do King of the Sea. How do you guys feel about cooperating? So they've run King of the Sea as well in America. They had 48 teams sign up there.
Yes.
And they're doing later today what we're doing now. So they're going to have their 3rd place match and the NA finals.
I think there's a wild Iso.
Wild Iso in the background. And then tomorrow we're going to have the EU 3rd facing the NA 3rd, 2nd facing 2nd, and 1st facing 1st. And we're going to have a true King of the Sea and King of the Atlantic, which is going to be really cool. I have watched some of the Americans' casts and some of their games. I really don't know. Like the meta is different. They played. You know, you see a lot of. You saw quite a few Yamatos around, especially earlier on the Grozavois. So it's going to be interesting to see if they're going to adapt, if they're going to just throw a different meta at us, and we'll see what happens. So it's exciting.
I love server clashes because I don't know when you play a game, you think that you know there's like this established meta in this game, and that means for all regions. And then you see how different the game can be played, even on that competitive level, in a different region, because they prefer a different setup or a different mindset is actually behind the way they play these games. And this is what I really loved about, like starting with the first server clash, just to see, first of all, how the different metas clash and how they work against each other, and then also what each of the regions actually learn from that, from a competitive point of view. I think NA struggled a bit in the first one that we saw, but since then they made huge steps forward, and I'm really looking forward to tomorrow and see how the EU teams are going to play against them. Because you also have to keep in mind that, like the European teams and the AA teams, they've spent the last 3-4 weeks playing against teams from their own cluster in their certain way, and you get your routine, you know how the certain situations are probably going to be played by the enemy team, and there might be something most players would consider like, oh, that's a bold move or something that you simply do not expect that can throw you completely off. So I'm interested to see how this is going to work.
Yeah. So tomorrow's cast is going to start at 5:30 CET. We're going to do a bit of a pre-show, talk about the teams, and especially have a look at the American teams, because I guess for most of us and for most of you, these are going to be unknown teams. But big shout out to our American friends who I'm sure are actually watching right now. So it's going to be a bit of a crossover friendly, or maybe not quite so friendly.
Well, it's competitive.
Competition.
There needs to, I mean, there doesn't have to be bad blood.
No,
but I think that the competitive thought about it is like, you should be rooting for your server. Like, I'm rooting for you. I'm not going to be like, well, NA, go win. No, put up a good fight, but I want our teams to win. And
there's going to be 3 more predictions as well tomorrow during the streams. As always, they're going to be announced in Twitch chat. So please do tune in for those tomorrow. It's going to be good fun. I think we're down to like 1 minute remaining for game number 3 of Omni versus Wargaming Pay to Win. It is currently 2-0 for Wargaming Pay to Win, and we are at a match point. So let's see what happens, and let's throw it over to our casters. Or not.
No, it did kind of throw it over to us. And Wargaming Pay to Win has actually locked in their team already. Double gearing, considering the success they have been having with this setup, not really surprised there. Only 1 Moskva, and they are bringing in a Zhao this time. Double Hindenburg, double Montana. This is something we've been seeing a lot in this higher tier, basically the end of this tournament, and that's almost solely Montana. Every single time, Montana, Montana, Montana. We've seen 1 or 2 Conquerors, but most of the time it's going to be Montana on both sides all the time.
Yeah, and from the Omni side, might have a sub player here.
Mr. DC, he's an Omni member,
Yeah,
but he might be playing for some, I don't know.
Or in an Overflow clan or something.
Indeed.
Well,
I'm
here we are
surprised.
on the countdown.
I'm surprised that they're switching it out right now, though. The question is it the planned move? Or is it the desperation move? Is something not working and they go, we have to change something so drastically that we're willing to take in a reserve or a player we maybe wouldn't normally field? Or is it this guy is really, really good at this map and that's why we're featuring him?
Yeah, that's a good question. And it could be both, right? Or maybe Mr. DC is their ace in the hole. It's like
yeah,
the trap
exactly.
card,
He's gonna be the hidden carry.
Yeah. No, but obviously they're in a desperate situation. This is one of the situations that Omni does not find themselves in a lot.
Well, Omni is good at being behind and
Yeah,
recovering.
for sure.
But this is 2-0 down in a grand final. A final that they are pretty much the favorites for since the start. So it's going to be an uphill battle, absolutely. All right, let's usual ritual suicide.
Yeah.
Usual ritual suicide. But oh no, RNG Sama is in the Minotaur again.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a significantly better map for it. But the Minotaurs we have seen so far haven't really performed that well. And I'm not talking just about Omni. We saw a Minotaur on this map earlier, and he didn't really accomplish much and got killed pretty quickly. And that's kind of been the story across the board when it comes to these Minotaurs. Alright, time to hunt the carrier. There we go. Alright, early split off. Wargaming Pay to Win, 1 gearing to B, and 1 gearing what looks like to C. So they're sending the DD presence towards BC, and they're actually sending Zhao, Hindenburg, and possibly even Montana towards A for a bit of a roaming role.
Yeah. And if we go over to Omni side, the most important note is the 1 DD.
Oh.
They struggled with it in the first map. Then they tried the double DD, and now they're going back to the 1 DD. And they have a Minotaur now instead, which is, I don't know, half of a DD, depending on how you play it.
Yeah, well, last time they tried to play it like a DD, they really struggled without the smoke.
But that was not due to them playing it poorly. It was Wargaming Pay to Win, like, okay, so you're doing that. Well, okay, try. And they tried, but didn't work.
It's gonna be. I think like, what is gonna be Omni's goal or Omni's path to success here is going to be efficient usage of that Minotaur.
Yeah.
Because that Minotaur has, well, it's been struggling. And the question is it the best use of a player like RNG Sama to throw him on a Minotaur and kind of hope for the best? He's a very, very good player, but against other top players, it's very hard to make the Minotaur work. Simply because every time you're spotted, you're going to get punished.
Yeah.
And his spotting will rely heavily on the carrier and just how much support he gets from the DD smokes.
Let's have a look at Mr. RNG-sama as he's trying to move into B, which is the...
He was spotted, Battleship AP went out.
This... Oh...
The bracket, splashed all around him.
Yeah. Well, wait, there's more. Not a single hit. All that volume of firepower, not a single hit.
Well, at that range, and of course, the Minotaur does handle amazingly. C is about to get contested by Ashwell. He's pushing in with the gearing very quickly towards C, and it looks like Omni is kind of giving up C, so we might see the early capture advantage go.
This is going to be a tricky position with the Wargaming pay to win, Moscow right here, and the Minotaur in this position.
If he gets behind the island, though, that's the thing.
But the crossfire from the Montanas, that's the dangerous part.
He's playing very aggressive.
That being said, a Minotaur in this position is going to mean the entirety of the middle of the map is a no-fly zone unless you want to lose a significant amount of planes.
Indeed.
Meanwhile, from Omni, the gearing of Flambas, moving to secure A, and where are the DDs from?
Well, we still have the C. In fact, if you switch to my point of view, we still have Ashwell, who is trying to secure C. They didn't really want to go in there as aggressively as I expected, and that was because of the bomber. Denying, or well, spotting him, and now he's afraid of going there, and now Omni has kind of caught up, so they will be denying this cap for now. The gearing doesn't really want anything to do with RNG Sama B, which isn't surprising.
Short fuse AP is not fun for a destroyer.
And especially with Minotaur's reload, so he kind of just staying away from that whole thing. So it looks like the early capture advantage will, I think for the first time this entire series, the capture advantage will go in Omni's favor. Because they've been struggling with coming back pretty much every single map so far. And this will be the first time that they will actually, if they do secure A, which they do, they will finally have the cap advantage. It's only one cap though, and it's an uphill battle, but it is a start.
Yeah, and if we go over to Omni again and we check out how they're allocating their ships, is that they have the Moscow, Montana, Hindenburg, Zao for the C flank here. And then they have that lone gearing, and then the Rome... I don't know. Can you call it Des Moines a roamer? It doesn't really fulfill that role.
No. I mean, the problem is it can't angle and tank the way the other roamers really can.
All right. I think we're gonna see some positioning action here inside of B, with the gearing having to play very carefully.
Indeed, this is actually very interesting from General Olsen because he's willing to contest a Minotaur, and that's a pretty ballsy play. I think that was the plane spotting?
Yeah, it was one of the two torpedo bombers spotted him, but then there's only one torpedo bomber left because Minotaur
some blind fire coming in on General Olsen. Actually, he's spotted, but the position he is, like these high rocks all around him. Oh, they're getting very close, but no, he does flip B. So that's a capture point each. The problem is, of course, this Minotaur can at any point just reverse back and contest it. So this is a significantly less secure cap than what A is for Omni. They have managed to gain a bit of a lead, I'd say 20-ish, almost 25 points, but that's such a small lead, and all it takes for a capture point to be contested for a few minutes, and that lead will evaporate. I'm surprised how safe... I guess the Moskva from Evo side is really scaring away this Wargaming pay-to-win push towards C. They really don't want anything to do with that radar, and surprisingly timid play. In fact... Oh, and there's the... What I mentioned earlier about RNG Sama just reversing back in, he did just that, and it's contested. Switching point of view, and we can see he's parked just so the middle of his ship is inside the cap. And the problem with this is General Olsen is locked into position. Oh, they're actually able to get some hits in, and that's the Montana from long range. And I don't think RNG Sama wants to take the risk. Oh, there was more Battleship AP coming in. Long range Montana Battleship AP coming in.
From...
All the way, just there. I think he is behind the cover.
There it is.
He is behind the cover, so it's just gonna slash. Oh no, pretty close. But the thing is, every time they do that, they force him out of the gap, out of the cap. But if this was the only cap, that would be good.
Yeah.
But Omni holds A, so every time he contests B, Wargaming pay to win isn't gaining points, and Omni is gaining a lead.
Bit every time he contests. And obviously, I don't think Wargaming Pay to Win has the ships available to fully fight over C, judging by what Omni has down here with the Montana, the Hindenburg, the Zao, and the Moscow. So this flank is probably going to stay dead for a while. Obviously, General Olsen could swing up with his gearing and support with smokes. Oh, is he going to get punished for this somehow? I don't think so. General Olsen was just spotted.
Yeah, but the thing is, RNG-sama would have to give so much broadside to shoot him, so I doubt he will take the risk.
But again, he's going to reverse, he's going to block the B cap, and Omni is going to inch further and
He's
further.
actually more than blocking it right now, because General Olsen has left the cap, so he's capping it.
Or is he having a General Olsen moment right here? I think he is.
He is.
Not as long.
Not as long. He noticed
there was
it.
a little bit of a. It was a little bit of one.
He did, but he noticed it quickly. Yeah. And this is a big problem for Wargaming Pay to Win. Omni has locked down. Oh.
Maybe not.
The problem here, the problem that RNG-sama faces is that they know exactly where he is.
Yeah.
And blind fire on a Minotaur is a lot scarier than blind fire on a DD.
Definitely.
Because it's such a big ship and it's such a big citadel, and there's more battleship AP coming in.
Yeah,
in fact,
he's scooted out of there.
Yeah,
so
I think
safe.
every time he tries to do this from now on, the battleships are going to shoot that position.
Yeah, but every time he's done it so far, they've managed to squeeze the lead up to 60 points.
Yeah, but the thing is the couple 10 points you can inch out of it worth risking your cruiser?
Risking it for the biscuit with a Minotaur?
I think the play they're making now is more interesting, and that's the fact that they're moving towards B.
Yeah, can we have a look at the Wargaming Pay to Win side and see what they're about?
Well, they have the smoke, and I think the gearing smoked up. There was a bit of a carrier drop that he dodged mostly. I know he ate one to the stern, I think. But he managed to mitigate most of it. The important thing is, because he had to smoke up here, though, he completely missed the Minotaur crossing the gap. They did spot him now, and they know that he's threatening C. But how exactly do they stop C? I don't think they really can.
No, they don't have the ships there, especially with the Minotaur going there as well.
Yeah.
It's just...
I mean...
Realistically, if Wargaming Pay to Win tried to take C, they would just be losing the match. So, they're doing the best they can at the moment. And if I look at my minimap, I see... Let's swap over here. I see just a line of ships playing very, very passively. And kind of they've been pushed off A. And
C is being capped.
Yep.
He is spotted, though. He is spotted, and there is some shots coming in, but it's only really HE. And if you look like, well, if you show from your point of view, actually closer in, just look how high the islands are that are protecting him. They'll get a bit of chip damage with the HE, but really on a Minotaur that has massive Royal Navy heal, HE chip damage isn't the end of the world. What is a big deal, though, is if we switch point of view to Wargaming Pay to Win, is while all this has been happening, they have managed to sneak a gearing into A. And if they trade A for C, Wargaming Pay to Win ends up with 2 caps, and Omni just with 1. So this trade would actually be amazing for Wargaming Pay to Win, and they're more than happy to take it. He even got 2 fighter squads here to protect him against possible carrier interceptions or strikes. And every time they shoot the Minotaur at this point, it actually has a bigger impact because it's delaying the cap.
Yep.
And this will allow Wargaming Pay to Win to potentially claw back the points. Houseus is eating a bunch of damage, though. Half HP on a cruiser is significant.
Oh, torpedoes on Ashwell? No,
they are spotted.
Yeah, okay, they were spotted.
They have been spotted, so I didn't even bother to stay here because a DD eating spotted. Oh,
well.
Battleship Montana AP. Potent has been really good with this volleys as of late, and that was a big chunk. But the problem is, the chunk came just a few seconds too late, and A does fall into Wargaming Pay to Win's hands, and that lead Omni barely managed to squeeze out with RNG-sama's Minotaur plays.
It's already passed now.
It's already gone.
Yeah.
That's how quickly it goes. That's why those small leads are not that big of a deal if they happen early game. They can be significant, and oh my lord, Ashwell is eating even more damage. More Battleship AP. Oh, and even more HE. Oh lord, huge chunks. And they got him on fire, which increases his spotting range, which means that they're going to be raining even more. And now they know they might be able to secure a kill and a huge lead here. The gearing in return is already contesting A, so what happened here was Wargaming Pay to Win held A briefly, but they paid for it in almost 20,000 of gearing health.
Yeah.
And they're still going to lose it right after.
Yeah, the thing is that they traded all that health, but they got the cap advantage in points. But are they going to be able to hold on to it? I don't see anything that can contest Flambus right now. He's capping just comfortably here. If you swap over to him.
The important thing to note here is that Wargaming Pay to Win ship here are Hindenburg, Montana, Zao. There is no radar. There's no. In fact, they only brought one radar, and that was the Moskva. And the Moskva has been repeatedly spotted at sea. So I mean, Flambas, of course, he's gonna capitalize on that. I mean, he knows what he's doing. There's no radar around. I'm just gonna reverse, smoke, and cap, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, and if we swap over to the situation over at sea has kind of stabilized. Omni finally managed to secure that, and that means that they have some.
1 second, Moskva spotted RNG Sama.
Yep.
This might actually be big. Moskva, is he radaring? Oh, RNG Sama has no idea, or does he? RNG Sama does angle away instantly, and the Moskva is trying to charge in. He's trying to get those firing angles, but RNG Sama is playing it smart, keeping angled. The AP is out though. Oh, but he's angled just enough that he keeps the island between them. Some chunk damage from far away, but it doesn't have the impact they were hoping for. Moskva keeps charging, trying to get, but the radar runs out. RNG Sama is undetected. I think he got set on fire. Increased his spotting briefly, but he instantly damage conned it.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, instantly damage conned, so he got undetected again, and he manages to get away. And in the meantime, Omni has been holding 2 caps, and they have generated a 25-point lead.
Very back and forth this one. Very back and forth.
Minotaur is spotted again, and Moskva is getting some good chunk damage on him. The problem is, has he overextended? I think he intentionally grounds to stop his forward momentum, and he's going to start reversing to get back, because I think he realizes himself that he cannot push past this island, because the crossfire he will be under will be just too immense.
Yeah.
Carrier is keeping him spotted. They know they can get some good chunk damage on him, so Carrier is sacrificing his bombers just to keep him spotted and add some additional chip damage on him. Elegant, the Hindenburg we see so often abusing these Moskvas, is once again at it.
Yeah, and this is the position that Omni plays really strong from. This is more of what we've come to expect from them, is that they fight over it, and now whenever Wargaming Pay to Win wants to try to get a cap or try to claw back the advantage, Omni's gonna make them pay for it.
Yeah, they're gonna make them bleed for basically every capture point like every tick of the cap. They're gonna make them bleed for it. And I mean, they're actually crippling this Moskva quite hard. He's actually finally managed to stabilize down to 30k health. He's popped his heal, but still, that is so much pressure. They do have General Olsen trying to contest C, but if Omni has that Moskva, do they still have that Moskva in position next to the island? Then this is going to be a doomed attempt, and there's actually the potential of TK putting in some battleship AP the second he shows himself.
Yeah, and we're gonna go back to. Oh well, we're gonna go back to RNG Sama.
Oh, he's back at it again.
He's back at it again.
And back
Same
at that
position.
island. The thing is, do they? Oh, there's some shells coming in.
Yeah.
But that's battleship AP. There's battleship AP coming in on him. Yeah. He is behind the island though, and it won't catch him in time. But he's such a thorn. Every time that Moskva is forced back, RNG Sama pushes in there again. And look at the Moskva. In fact, if we switch views, the Moskva pushed in again to deal with RNG Sama. As soon as he pushes in, they all focus fire him.
Yep.
That RNG Sama at this point is bait.
Yeah.
He's bait for this Moskva, and every time the Moskva comes in, everyone focuses him.
Yep.
And the Minotaur isn't really taking any damage, but he's taking massive chunks. Massive chunks.
I mean, he is on fire. Oh, just
100-point difference. That's the damage gone.
Yep.
Oh, battleship AP coming in as well. Oh, and he gets
goes.
potent again across the map. Manages to snipe him. 850 to 630, 220-point lead. 4 minutes left. It's all in Wargaming Pay to Win's hands now. How are they going to break this Omni defense that so far has seemed almost unsurmountable?
Yeah. I don't know what they can do. Like I said earlier, is that playing against Omni when they have this kind of a they're in this situation, it's like they know they need to, but it's that the feeling of like we have to, but we can't, but we have to, and just
RNG Sama reversed into B again.
Did now?
Yeah, he's contesting it again, and that must be so frustrating because the carrier can't do anything about him because of the AA. Absolutely can't do anything, and that must be so frustrating for Wargaming Pay to Win to deal with, because all that chip damage, well, he's just healing it back with that Royal Navy heal, and they haven't been able to get, like, regardless of all the pressure he's been under, they have never been able to get that critical Citadel damage that has kept him down. All they do is chip at him, and then he heals it back.
We got a radar popped here by
oh yeah, General Olsen is under huge pressure.
Swapping into his...
He's under huge pressure. 7.4k. Engine is broken, so his acceleration is struggling. If your engine gets broken, even if you have last stand, like all these competitive DDs will have, it still affects your acceleration greatly, as we can see, as he's trying to crawl away under so much pressure.
Yeah, and we're in a situation now where Omni is close to take it.
63 points away from getting it. Only getting their first map win. Oh, another chunking on the gearing. In fact, he barely gets away with, from our point of view, we can see 3.4k health. He finally stopped burning. His engine is finally intact. But does he really dare to go back into the cap?
Yeah. We have a situation here where Evo side in the Moscow is reversing as much as he can. And we also have the Minotaur inside of B also reversing, not wanting to get under the guns from that Montana. It's like
955
and win, guys. No risks.
955. OMNI is only really getting, well, now RNG Sama actually secured the B cap.
Yep.
So they are gaining 2 sets of points right now, and I don't see how Wargaming Pay to Win can make this happen. I think Maser needed to get into the battle earlier.
Yep.
With that kind of health pool, I think he could have had a significantly higher impact on the outcome if he would have moved into position maybe sooner. But Wargaming Pay to Win style has so far been, they play quite safe. And we can't criticize it as a bad play style because they have had such success and they have made almost no mistakes. There's a drop coming in fact.
Yep.
And we got a carrier drop coming in on the Montana. The first squad does get dropped. The second drop will succeed. 994 points. Unless this is a detonation, it's not. Well, it's gonna go.
Here goes the last tick, and
Omni finally secure a map point. And did they lose a single ship?
Well, let's find out.
Let's actually find out. They did not lose. No, they didn't lose a single ship. To be fair, though, Wargaming Pay to Win only lost 1 as well.
Yeah.
But they chunked down so
look
many.
Look at the plane kills on the Minotaur in his position that he had there early on.
Indeed. That is, of course, the strength of that brutal Minotaur position. That's why you want it in B. You deny all the scouting, you deny all the strikes on the surrounding areas. It's just, it's brutal. It's a brutal position. And it's risky, though, because you saw how much pressure Wargaming Pay to Win put on him every time he went there. They wanted him killed, they just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Anyway, what does our analyst desk think about this game?
It was really intense, I have to say. I was really, in the beginning I wasn't sure about the Minotaur pick. And I think that Wargaming Pay to Win, initially they had a good idea about how to counter it. Because there's only the one position that you can go for in the Minotaur and B, right? So they kind of set up with the angle on the Montana, but I think they dedicated too many resources to counter this remotely while handing the A cap to Omni and then not pushing for C. I think the play on C, that's where they were too timid. That's what I feared for Wargaming Pay to Win, that they would be like, they didn't want to commit to any major mistake. So they said like, okay, maybe let's not push C too much in the beginning because Omni had a lot of forces there. But then they basically handed the game to Omni, at least early on with the pressure. They had no way of coming back. So that's well played by Omni, and I think Wargaming Pay to Win was a little bit too timid, but still well played. I think it's just like making the decision when to push is just very hard.
I mean, I think this was a perfect example of why people don't really want to give Omni a lead.
Yeah.
Because it's so hard to recover from it. To be fair, Wargaming Pay to Win, when they've gotten a lead, they've been no slouches either. It's been almost impossible for Omni to get anything done when they've been behind. So I think the early game is surprisingly important for both of these teams because they are so well matched and they're both so individually skilled that early advantage, that early cap advantage actually has a surprisingly high impact on the outcome of the actual game.
We saw how much Wargaming Pay to Win was, how much they put on the line just to get that A cap back, and how much punishment the gearing took.
Indeed.
Yes.
And even the Moskva, every time they tried to pressure RNG Sama, it was punishment, punishment, punishment.
I have to say that RNG Sama, like playing a Minotaur is, I guess your pulse is just like maxed out the entire game, especially with the back and forth.
Those Montana volleys coming in again and again and again, getting so close.
So close.
I mean, I understand. Yeah, like you said, the amount of resources. Every single volley that they shot at the Minotaur, with risky shots behind islands, behind cover, where you don't have good vision, could have been utilized shooting at other ships and actually doing damage.
But it made sense to actually commit that. Just RNG Sama, I think he played it really well. It's like playing against so many different targets and angles on a ship that basically has no armor. really well played. I wasn't sure about the pick at the beginning, but they utilized it in the best possible way. And also moving him to C to secure the C cap and then falling back to B. Well played. And my question for you is, so is pulling a General Olsen a thing when it comes to being close to reversing into a cap but not committing?
Is that a thing now?
I think from now on,
General Olsen, is that the new thing?
Yes, the General Olsen.
You park at the edge, but not quite enough.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, but no, I think these teams are so close when it comes to performance and the skills. I'm really tempted to see what's going to happen next, because this was a pick from Wargaming Pay to Win, and Omni actually managed to snatch it off them. So let's see about the next one.
And I mean, we can't also deny probably the moral impact it has. You lose 2 in a row, and then you finally get that win. And you finally go, okay, we know how to beat them now. We have a plan. It's got to have a pretty big moral impact on the outcome in that sense. And now they also get to go to their own map pick. So
yeah, I think Atlantic is going to be for all of these reasons. It's going to be really hard for Wargaming Pay to Win, especially with Omni's reputation. And as you said, the morale effect is going to work in the opposite for Wargaming Pay to Win, where they've had those really nice victories and they've played the same sort of consistent, careful style, and Omni've just taken it, thrown it in their face, and won anyway.
The thing is, Wargaming Pay to Win opting for the South spawn, and what we saw in the previous weekends is
South spawn always wins.
South spawn has a chokehold because they push through A around the south.
Yeah, A
mostly uncontested.
Yeah.
From what we see so far, though.
Omni did play this map on the north side against TWA, wasn't it?
Yes.
And they did win.
Yeah.
It was the deciding map, and that's where Potent got that shot between the gap at the
the gap at the Minotaur, yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see if
to be fair,
repeats.
Before they got that clutch kill, Omni were behind like 200 points.
Yeah.
They have behind on caps, they were behind on points, they were in huge trouble. So shaky. It's going to be a shaky game, I would say.
But we got ourselves a series.
Yeah, we got ourselves a series. It's not going to be 3-0 to anyone.
Yeah.
Nice. Let's, but Wargaming Pay to Win. 1 game to win, and Omni we're going to have to go 3-0 to be able to take
Omni has to go 3-0 just to clutch it out. And I mean, you can't forget that Headhunter's axe that's hanging over Omni at all times. One mistake from one player, and they might lose the final.
Yep.
Because Wargaming Pay to Win just need that 1 game, and it's over. So it's going to be a rough one.
Yeah, 3 maps back to back, and we're reaching the point now where mental fatigue is starting to set in, where they're,
yeah, I mean,
not in their
feeling the pressure,
condition, so to
feeling
speak.
the pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hyped.
Very exciting.
Yes.
Guys, we gave our predictions earlier when we didn't see anything yet, but I'm curious now. Can we have some casters' predictions as to the game outcome? I know Flamu is going to be
in my entirely unbiased opinion, I think the better team Omni is going to win it. But no, but seriously though, Wargaming Pay to Win is putting on one amazing performance.
Okay.
The 2 games were as close to flawless games as you could imagine, and Omni have an uphill climb. I'm gonna put my heart is with Omni though, and I'm gonna put Omni as my prediction, but it's not gonna be an easy ride.
Okay. Iso, how about you?
Yeah, Wargaming Pay to Win, man. They hungry. They want it.
They want it.
Yeah.
What score are we talking?
I think we're gonna come down to a 2-2 situation with the decider being in the last game for sure.
So you agree with me? 3-2 for Wargaming Pay to Win.
Yeah, that would be my prediction.
Yeah,
3-2 for Omni.
Now that we're going into Omni's map pick, I think I might be right. We'll see. What's the status of the teams? Do we have ship picks to have a look at yet, or not yet?
It looks. Some still haven't read it up. We're still waiting for a couple, it seems.
But what do you think they're going to change? Are they going to change anything up? Do you think Omni's going to bring another Minotaur?
It's a different map, and the thing is, Atlantic is such a Des Moines playground with the islands and the caps and the air control. Minotaur works, but
yeah, we saw what happened with that in the last game of TVA versus Omni.
Yeah, I mean the Minotaur can work, but with good Montana players, the value of the Minotaur goes down pretty significantly. So
yeah,
they might put RNG Sam has played it twice now. I think they might put him again on that Minotaur, but it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough because there's not nearly as much cover on this map, and as soon as one of the flanks start leaking, any sort of position goes out the window.
Yeah.
because almost all the positions on Atlantic rely on your team securing the flanks. And the second the flanks start leaking, all those positions jump.
Are we gonna see Omni knowing this ahead of time and trying to stall out the push through A, which it's a fair assumption to make that Wargaming Pay to Win
They
is
will
gonna
push
try
through A.
try to go
I mean,
south A.
that's what every team pretty much does, and that's because it's such an obvious weakness. You get the flank on the enemy team, B collapses, you win.
And you get the crossfire with the battleships, and then
Basically, you push through A, B collapses, you win. That's the fundamental gameplay. And the enemy team, on the other hand, tries to push through C, B collapses, they win. And it comes down to which team maybe will be able to defend and push at the same time better. So it's going to come down to skill.
The question is also how much is Wargaming Pay to Win? Are they going to put more pressure on like having more radar cruisers? Because that was kind of lacking for them in the last match.
I mean, we can answer that for you right now.
Oh, we can actually answer that. Yes, let's see. Wargaming Pay to Win. They are bringing the Des Moines. Well, as I said, this is the Des Moines playground. They are bringing Des Moines and Moskva. So they do have double radar cruisers for this one. Double Hindenburgs, not surprising for the flexibility, pushing and kiting away. Double Montanas, as expected. Double Gearings, pretty expected. And of course, the Hakuryu.
Yeah, and from Omni, I think we can already see what's going to happen here. They have the double Zao. And I would not be surprised to see...
Push or kite.
Yeah, push or kite, or just hold them back by A, not in allowing Wargaming Pay to Win to hook around south of...
I mean, we did point it out on the previous time we faced this. Zao is kind of the natural counter to the Hindenburg. So when the Hindenburg tries to push in, the Zaos can just burn them down.
Different teams again.
Yeah. Okay, whoever's talking, I can actually hear you in my headset, and it's like super distracting.
Tomato Conway right now.
Yeah,
Very
Tomato
red.
Conway. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure the stream could also hear you, but now we know.
No.
Right, are we ready to go with the game?
I'm...
Everyone is
Ready
ready?
to go.
What are we waiting for?
Match is set to start right now.
Okay, well, here we go.
7:50.
Here we go. 2-1 for Wargaming Pay to Win. Omni has to win this game just to push it to a 5th map.
But they have to win this one and the next
Yeah,
one.
well, if they want to win, but
if
to
they
push to
wanna
a
win,
5th map, yeah. And whereas Wargaming Pay to Win, well, they clutch this one map and it's done. They're the European champions. That's really what it comes down to.
Yep.
Let's see. Double Zao, though. I mean, the thing is, you can both pressure the enemy team thanks to the spotting advantage, or you can just kite away and harass the enemy team. Both options are there, and we'll actually see how they decide to play it. It's very much like the Hindenburg in that sense. Oh no, this keyboard. I shall not berate French keyboards, but oh my god, this keyboard. Like, why is the shift key larger than the enter key?
Yeah.
Like, what is wrong with them? That is such an awkward design. Okay.
I'm not gonna argue that point.
Yeah, I know. Well, you shouldn't. You're stuck with the same thing.
Yep.
You are stuck with the same thing. Anyway, the game is gonna kick off. We gotta do our ritual little suicide here. That sounds so morbid every time.
Yep.
Let's see. Alright. Ritual suicide completed. Can probably already look at the map a bit. Well, probably not yet. The key question I think will be which team can lock down their base better. Because you know the enemy team will try to push into the base. Because that's the only way to really open up those angles on the B capture point. So both teams will want to pressure the spawn. The question is which team will be able to defend that spawn better.
Surprisingly, well, we'll wait until we're actually in game to talk about it.
Indeed. Let's see, these planes are landing. Chat is already predicting the Flolo curse when it comes to my prediction. I am on Wargaming Pay to Win side though.
Yeah.
So if the curse is active, I should be helping Omni at this point.
Yep.
Alright. And Ritual Suicide is completed. Let's see if we can find the Hakuryu as usual. There we go. Right. So Wargaming Pay to Win, probably not entirely surprisingly, is sending out the gearing, the quick capping DD towards A with a lot of support in there. In fact, the other Des Moines, the Des Moines is being sent towards the island at B. Once again, not a surprising position, with the gearing backing him up, no doubt to smoke if needed. And Hindenburg, Montana, actually Hindenburg and Montana being sent to help. Is there any other forces being sent
We
down
kind
there?
of see that classic Hindenburg, Montana delay north of spawn from Wargaming Pay to Win. And from Omni side, not what I anticipated. I thought the two souths would try to work the... However, Flambus in the gearing actually going towards A early on. But he's only backed up by Zhao.
He did use his smoke though. That's significant. He used his smoke only for himself.
Yeah, he was plane spotted.
But the thing is, with the gearing, see, the problem is, the reason why teams generally don't go for A is, if we switch point of view, this position right here. When a gearing parks here, it's so hard to smoke him out. Okay, this guy's, he's leaving the smoke now, and that's because radar, I assume? Because Flambas is spotted. Oh, they're radaring him. He's smoking up to shoot him. This is nasty. Flambas obviously knows that he's radared.
There is torpedoes going out though, so, but the Wargaming Pay to Win gearing is probably gonna...
Good pressure on Flambas though. DD versus DD, but of course the General Olsen has the spotting advantage, so Flambas is forced out. I gotta question this move though, because it was pretty predictable that Wargaming Pay to Win would pressure A hard, and this didn't really delay them much, and uh-oh, Flambas, he has no idea, does he? No, they're not spotted. I looked at your screen, they're not... Oh, he's turning in. He's turning into the Des Moines?
Let's see it from his point of view, when he's gonna realize that, uh-oh.
Oh, his turn might doom him. His turn might actually doom him.
I'm seeing it. Oh.
They are spotted.
Oh,
no,
not
no.
like this.
Broken engine, he can't slow down.
He takes it in the... Yeah, but...
He took it in the middle of the ship. Oh, no. And he's flooding because he used in damage con. He is dead.
1 health.
Oh, no. That play into A, I thought that was not... That was
not worth it.
That was not worth it, because he used the smoke early on, but I mean, we know... Everyone knows that the South team will pressure A. So he knew he had basically a horde coming his way. And still going in there, that's going to be nasty. That is absolutely going to be nasty.
Omni, however, opting for the double gearing this map, so losing Flambas that early is not an entire, like, it's not the headshot from the beginning of the match, but it's significant.
It is significant.
Yeah. And we spoke about, before you swap, we spoke about how the South team always goes to A and pushes through there.
Indeed.
And the counter you have to kind of do as the North team is push through C heavily.
Indeed.
And it seems like Omni is on track with that, pushing through the South, the Hindenburg, and the Moscow.
Wargaming Pay to Win is contesting B though.
Swapping over that.
Indeed, but I think they are... Oh no, they're flipping B. That is pretty significant. Wargaming Pay to Win is actually flipping B here. The problem is now Omni is down a DD extremely quickly, and that's going to be a huge issue. Omni does have their push going, but I mean, it's not like it's going to catch Wargaming Pay to Win by surprise. The meta on this map is very established. They got a Hindenburg, they got a Montana, they got a Moskva, they got all of this. We're just waiting for him. Waiting for them. And they do even secure the double cap advantage. Omni's got an uphill climb now. They got a huge uphill climb now.
The only thing I can see, I'm going to swap back here to Omni's point of view, is that can they realistically push through C and dislodge a Moscow, a Montana, and a Hindenburg?
That's not an easy task, is it?
No, but on the other hand, can they use a Montana... Oh, shit. A Montana and a Zhao to flip that down? Can they do that?
Well, it's certainly gonna be a challenge. I mean, we did mention, what we spoke of a lot was the importance of the early game advantage.
Yeah.
Wargaming Pay to Win just got a DD kill and a cap advantage. 4-3 in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That is a massive advantage. And we know that these teams are so evenly matched that can they really afford to give up such an advantage to such a team as Wargaming Pay to Win?
I don't think so. We're seeing the Montana and the Zhao reversing, so they're at least ready to stall out.
RNG Sama is being chunked very hard.
Swap back to you.
Yeah,
I got it.
RNG Sama is actually being chunked extremely hard. He was forced to turn, and I think he grounded. And when he was grounded, they put massive pressure on him. He did get undetected now, and I think the carrier is trying to keep these planes away from spotting him desperately because he took so much damage. But if they manage to get... Oh, the bomber is going to get through and spot him. He does get through. He gets briefly spotted. Will they get any damage before he fades? All the shots are out. What they need is a fire to increase his spotting. The question is if they can secure it.
Montana AP coming in?
No. No fires, no big hits, and the Zao will be able to disengage. Very close to giving up another kill there, though. Extremely close. Securing B, though. Look at this setup. This Des Moines. This is the reason why you push through C is to get this firing angle to be able to contest this position. And if you can't get into this position, good luck getting B. That's really what it comes down to. Good luck getting B from here.
Oh, Mr. DC having to use his smoke here, swapping back while trying to secure B.
We've seen this a lot in this map so far, and that's being forced to do these selfish smokes often. And that's a problem, because one of the reasons people bring gearings is that smoke is such a team utility. It lasts for ages, it's huge, it covers your team, it's fantastic.
Is the reset gonna happen here? The one turret from someone?
A lot of shells coming in.
Oh, I think he's just got radar because he's moving.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
that's the
forced
radar
that.
from the Des Moines. Almost guaranteed.
150 point lead. Almost, well, 140 point lead at this point for Wargaming Pay to Win. Omni has it all to do now. And they can't really get B. Well, they can maybe after the radar runs out. They can
Yeah,
maybe
but it's
contest
like, it's
again.
kind of the same situation that Wargaming Pay to Win was in last match, where RNG Sama was backing into the B cap, and every time he does that, they inch up the point lead a little bit.
Yeah, the difference is on this map though.
Swapping back to
it's Wargaming Pay to Win that has the cap advantage. So all he's really doing by inching into the cap is delaying the amount of lead that Wargaming Pay to Win is generating.
Oh, this is pretty interesting. We have a long-range drop by the carrier
This,
from Wargaming Pay to
yeah,
Win.
there's cross torps going in at the same time. Oh, they do get spotted.
They do get
Excellent
spotted.
carrier spotting there.
But this means that he's gonna be forced out of the cap most likely.
He's actually going for the ballsy play. He's going to reverse an angle into those torps.
Can he do it?
Well, they were spotted
Yeah,
very
it looks-
early. He should have no issues doing it. It's still a ballsy play though, because if there's some unexpected surprise,
Nice move,
he's
man.
in a nasty position.
Mr. DC keeping his cool.
The thing is though, it's not like Wargaming Pay to Win is going to sit and let this happen. General Olsen on the other side of the cap from Wargaming Pay to Win is reversing in, and he's going to contest that. And that's really what it comes down to. That's really what it comes down to. It's going to be contested, and at this point, they're just waiting for the smoke to fade.
Yep.
Or they're waiting for the next radar. Time heavily favors Wargaming Pay to Win.
Yep.
It's Omni who has to do it. I said the difference in points was 140. The difference in points is now 100 and what? 70?
Yeah.
It keeps going up, it keeps rising, and the pressure keeps mounting on Omni. And RNG Sama is spotted again,
Yep.
and RNG Sama is under pressure again. He does get unspotted once more, but they're having no luck pushing through here. This triple... Oh, they even have a gearing here now. But this Moskva, Montana, Hindenburg has proved to be such an effective stopper of any sort of Omni
If
aggression.
you dip down to A, you can see that Wargaming Pay to Win is playing it safe.
Indeed.
They don't push through A because they have the advantage. They're holding those guys in a reserve. They can either hook around or double back towards B, or they can hook around north from A.
The important thing is here, these two ships are effectively locking down these two ships. And they can still shoot over the island, as we can see, and they can still pressure Mr. DC, who's about to be shot at from multiple angles. No big hits by the looks of it. Battleship AP, does it actually chunk him? No, it all misses wide. So, he gets away barely. But what happens there is, he's forced out of the cap again.
Yeah. And much like the last game, you get forced out 30, 40 seconds. Yeah, that's a, like, I don't know the math exactly.
Yeah,
but the points is like, it's inching that advantage a little bit further every time it gets forced out.
Did I say 170 points? I meant the lead is 200 points.
Yeah, exactly.
Every time that happens, Wargaming Pay to Win gains a bigger advantage, and Omni are in huge trouble. What they need right now is a potent shot across the map to basically devastate the cruiser.
Oh.
The question is how?
No, that's not gonna... Is that actually potent trying to shoot that again?
No, it's TK.
It's TK trying to.
He does get some chunk damage, but ultimately it doesn't really do much.
And you're not going to be able to...
carrier drop coming in on the Za.
That's interesting.
Does he have defensive AA? It looks like he popped it. Yeah, those plays are being shredded. People often underestimate Zao AA, but the high caliber guns on it with defensive AA is quite a scary thing indeed. He might eat one... No, he stops in time. Good play from XDHD. That drop completely whiffs. They are getting some good pressure on the Montana, in fact, Kamikaze Sushi. But he's so far away, and it's going to be so easy for him to disengage with only 2 ships pressuring.
We're going to swap back to Mr. DC'd in his awkward position where he has to work the cap. But, yeah, we'll see how long he gets to stay in this time around.
The push into B, volume 5?
The remix.
Yeah, this is the remix where, well, Des Moines Radar. I'm just waiting for the Des Moines Radar at this point. As soon as he starts contesting, it wouldn't surprise me. This time, though, they are pulling in a Moskva to help him. Look behind him. He's actually got a Moskva helping him out. And that smoke will actually help Evo side get into position. So that means they might finally maybe get some sort of real pressure on B. Because so far it's been Mr. DC going in, being spotted, being forced out over and over and over again.
I don't think that's going to change. The difference here is whenever Wargaming Pay to Win gets forces him out, they can Omni can counter radar and get some pressure back.
Yeah, more than that, they can no longer just park a DD there and contest it forever. Because if they do it now, Moskva will radar and they will get pressure on General Olsen. I think they might have actually radar there because, oh lord, the Des Moines is under a lot of pressure now. He is under a lot of pressure, but he's in such a good position.
Let's swap over and look at that.
Yeah, look at the position. They can only really hit the back of his ship. They get some damage, sure, but he's not gonna die in the time they can keep him spotted. There's no way. DC'd, counter radar, as expected. Forced out of the cap, once again, volume 15 at this point. And we mentioned this. Wargaming Pay to Win knows how to play with the lead. Wargaming Pay to Win really knows how to play with the lead. They're not going to make stupid mistakes. Look how safe they're playing around A. They've taken a lot of damage around A, but they're still playing safe. The big issue here is if Omni manages chunk the... Oh, the Des Moines has actually reversed. The Des Moines has reversed.
Let's have a look at that. There's kind of both radar cruisers on B taking some pressure.
I don't know if this is the best play. Omni is finally bringing some pressure. The question... Oh, Battleship AP. Oh, what? It barely chunked almost nothing. So, I mean, they're finally getting some pressure, but 140 points, 6 minutes. Omni needs to bring the heat now.
Yeah.
They have done good damage. I will mention that. They have good damage. Des Moines is very low. Kamikaze Sushi is very low.
Yeah.
But very low doesn't give points.
No, especially if you compare it to the health of Wargaming Pay to Win as well.
And the rest of them are fine.
Yeah.
Some blind fire still coming in, but the Des Moines survives. I think Omni might finally, maybe, be able to secure B, but the smoke runs out.
Yeah.
Smoke runs out, and Moskva is spotted, and that's Evo's side. They all call target on him. I see the arrow pointing out, calling target on him. And he... Oh, and Mr. DC gets spotted by the plane as well, so they might even be able to...
There's another smoke, but the Des Moines will surely have radar.
He does get undetected thanks to the smoke, so they might even be able to get the cap. The question is, how much damage will Evo's side pay for this?
Is this the decap right here? Was it enough to splash? No.
No.
So that's going to be the cap then.
That will be indeed the cap. Evo is being chunked so heavily. They are constantly harassing. It's the Hindenburgs again.
Yeah.
It's the Hindenburgs against that angled Moskva. It's such a strong tool.
Meanwhile...
They flip the cap though.
Yeah.
The problem is A is in Wargaming Pay to Wins. Oh. We need to look at the Des Moines. Look at the Des Moines. Is that the second radar? It must be the second radar. That's the only reason it can be spotted.
This is blind fire.
Oh, blind fire. They're getting such good hits. They got him. Battleship AP. Oh, just barely misses. He's still at 5k health. He's healing. This kill, they really need this kill.
They need it.
920 points. 80 points to go. The problem is the A cap. Omni can't really contest it, which means Omni can't stop the points gain. XTHD is trying to pressure it, but ultimately he's got an Hindenburg there. And even though he might win this fight eventually, the Hindenburg will keep him out of the cap. We got a potential carrier drop on the Hindenburg. Oh yeah, we got a drop for sure. The problem is Hindenburg defensive AA is monstrous.
Yep.
It's absolutely monstrous. And oh, there comes the strafe. Oh, that's a really nice strafe.
Well,
the strafe combined with the AA. He does have to give broadside to the Zao though. Does the Zao capitalize? He gets a
10K.
really good chunk. He's down to 9k. Meanwhile, though, Evo goes down to
Evo goes down, and that leaves 20 points.
20 points. Omni needs to secure this kill. They need to secure this Hindenburg.
The Des Moines of Wargaming Pay to Win, though, spotted right now.
He is spotted. He's down to 5.5k health, but he's next to the island again.
Yeah.
Oh, 988 points. XTHD needs to clutch this to give Omni a lifeline. 4k health, 991. 1.2k on the Des Moines, 994. He's down at 1.2k. It's 994 still.
Oh.
997. It won't have time. There will be no time. The shells are in the air.
There it is.
The shells were in the air, but it's not enough.
Wow.
Wargaming pay to win. That Flambas push into A, that decided the game, I think. It was because Wargaming pay to win got an advantage, and they never let go.
No, and then it's like, it's such a monumental thing that happens.
Indeed.
Losing a DD like that, just...
And, I mean...
For nothing, because usually you trade something... You trade ship health or a ship...
Or points or something,
like,
but
there's
getting
always
a kill
trade.
for free.
Yeah.
That's
and
so
that early
huge.
as well. It's,
And you could see just how they played it. That B play. Every time they try to contest radar, plane spotting, and they just extend the lead and they keep buying time.
Yeah.
And Omni had to push in. I think they might have needed to push in a bit sooner, because when they did start pushing, I felt like the tide was starting to turn.
Yeah.
The problem was...
Pay to Win did really, really well with their remaining force they had back in their spawn, preventing Omni from pushing down on the eastern side from C.
Yeah, I mean, RNG Sama got chunked every time he tried to do anything.
Yeah.
Just absolutely chunked. So that means we have our European winner.
Yep.
We have our European. Wargaming pay to win. With a name like that, how could we possibly expect anyone to take them on and beat them? I mean, they were destined to win this cup without any question. But they will have to defend that title of King of the Sea tomorrow against NA's #1. And that should be interesting. Let's see what the couch has to say.
Yep.
We were like literally falling off our chairs trying to this was a fantastic game. I'm really, really sad, not just because I wanted to win my prediction exactly. I'm really, really sad that Omni didn't manage to claw this game back, because it would have been fantastic to see a game #5 of these two people playing. Like, this has been fantastic World of Warships, and I think the King of the Sea has a history of having fantastic finals, as you'd expect. Congratulations to Wargaming Pay to Win. As much as you're going to get us to say the name over and over again. You guys played a fantastic game of World of Warships, and absolutely congratulations. And you should definitely bring that back tomorrow to make sure that we also remain the #1 region.
I expect nothing less than a win.
Exactly.
Yes.
I mean, imagine if they take the title and then they lose to the N18.
Well, then we'll have a talk.
We'll have a talk.
Then we'll have a talk.
About that clan.
Discussion, if you would.
It's gonna be the forceful rename to Pay to Lose.
Yeah. No, I think they showed they know how to play this map, especially from the South Spawn. They had great control. And that Des Moines position there, I mean, like, his reversing sometimes puzzled me a bit as well, because he seemed like he was mostly secure, tucked into that little nook. But they held the cap, and they weren't able to.
Yeah, I think he was just trying to get into a position where he could actually move out and maybe pressure Omni.
I think actually the reason was they knew exactly where he was when he was pushed into the nook, and they were all blind firing the position. So he had to move, because even though he was quite covered, they could still hit the back of his ship with the blind fire. So he didn't want to give them that free damage, so he tried to move back. The problem was when he moved back, I think he got radared.
Yeah.
And that was a really nasty situation. So.
Yeah, and the torpedo on Flambers.
I think that was we kind of called it there. It's really tough to play from the get-go with a 1 destroyer disadvantage, especially on a map like this.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a difficult decision. It was a ballsy move, but that puts you at risk. And in that match, I understand why they might have tried to contest it, but of course you don't expect to lose your DD right away, and eating a torp that early on. Unfortunate. But I have to also say that Wargaming Pay to Win, they had a really good timing also with their radars, because when Omni tried to flip the first B back again, the radar was just on spot. Omni was like, okay, we can get it, and then bam. So really well played from Wargaming Pay to Win.
I mean, the torpedo that sealed the kill on Flambas, I will agree, that was just really rotten luck. That was rotten luck, and it happens sometimes. But pushing into the cap, when you know that pressure is coming, that's a bit shaky in my book. Because every team we've ever seen always puts huge pressure on A. And putting a gearing over there alone without any real backup.
Yeah, it's tough situation to get out of.
I think I don't know what they were expecting from it, but I assume they were hoping to delay.
Yeah,
they were hoping to buy time, but against double radar.
Yeah, and that's why I was a bit surprised because the double Sao pick would have a double Sao and a Montana kind of trying to block A. That makes sense. A DD there immediately. Even if you get the cap, you're eventually gonna lose it unsupported. So it was just like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think if it would just been about, maybe launching Torps going for a lucky hit on A in the beginning, just like trying to delay it, that would have been fine. But actually going for the actual cap, but it's that's the decision you sometimes have to make. Like maybe throw the enemy off with that, and it didn't work out in that situation.
Chat seems to be a bit confused here. All top 3 teams of this EU tournament, all top 3 will face all top 3 of NA. It's not just the winner. So we will be seeing TWA, OMNI, and Wargaming Pay to Win, all of them tomorrow, taking on NA's top 3 teams.
Yes, exactly. The top 3 teams for NA have, of course, not been decided yet because
we'll be deciding tonight.
They are going to be playing a little later today. You'll be able to catch them at twitch.tv/craptor00 and twitch.tv/quadrilus. If you go to worldofwarships.com, you'll be able to see the portal article there, links to their streams as well. Go watch them, give them a shout out, prepare them for hell tomorrow. It's going to be, I think it's going to be a good day. As for tomorrow, we are going to be going live at 5:30 CET, both on Twitch and on Facebook, both on Flamu's Twitch and on the official World of Warships Twitch page. And I really hope that we're going to see numbers as excellent as the ones today. It's very, very cool for us to see that you guys are interested in watching this content, and it definitely means there's going to be more coming from going forward.
Yeah, indeed.
Exactly.
And all of you guys tuning in helps us create more of this. Basically, when you tune in, you show Wargaming here, there's actual interest in this stuff, and they will put more resources into it. And then, of course, we might...
Spectator mode?
Yeah. I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. You brought it up.
Yes.
But ritual suicide might not be the best way. I'm just saying.
Yeah. On that note, though, if you wanna drop me and Flamu tweets or on the Discords, bring up any criticisms or suggestions.
Feedback is good. Feedback is good.
Definitely.
And we can try to improve some things.
Yeah, you got to remember, this is our first time with talking to a cam and actually having production people instead of us like fiddling on the keyboard, quickly trying to tab out and make it look like not scuffed when it's horribly scuffed. So, yeah, give us feedback. Would appreciate it.
Same thing is true for us, because this is the first time we actually did this kind of setup. So let us know what you think, what we could improve for the future. But I think for the first date, it was really nice. And tomorrow...
It's going to be good. Yeah, we'll see you back. And I think that's pretty much it for us for today. We're going to retire to the closest bar and get prepared for tomorrow.
Yes,
prepared. We're starting quite late in the afternoon.
Refill the liquids, change the oil.
Yes, grab a glass of milk.
Yes. So thank you very much. As I mentioned, we will see you tomorrow at 5:30 CET on Twitch, Facebook, and thanks for tuning in. Have a good evening.
Cheers, guys.
Big shout out to the supporters and organizers, and see you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
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 Doodles.
Greetings, Twitch fans, and welcome back for another day of King of the C5.
Looks like Des Moines is taking some bomb hits, and he's kind of...
Wow! 3FM nuking a Des Moines out of existence with planes.
Oh!
Nice shot.
Never mind, I think they will.
Oh, he detonated!
What? Montana is gonna get the top set. What? No way. They're gonna run out, right? No, famous last words.
Oh, detonated!
Detonated? What?
What?
Can he get it behind?
He does.
He does get behind. Oh, Flambass's corpse serves to protect him. It's Torp Central. Oh no. Oh, he's reversing really well. Oh, he managed to dodge. Oh, oh my lord. The perfect gap, and he manages to fit in between it. That was really well done by Bow Wow.
Wow, that dodge.
That was
Not
nice.
one, not even one hit. Also,
Like,
Rick.
if he can actually take this cap, that would be ridiculous.
Wow, wow, wow. He takes it. Well done there by Asher.
That was awesome play.
Did Tanker just fire HE?
I think he might have done.
Okay.
Mind you,
And
once
Montan's not
Bao
going for the
on
ramp, he's just
season
going for a
2
full broadside. Oh, God.
Ooh, straight into the
Ouch.
Citadel.
Now he rams the Kerr first, that's max value.
Okay, yeah. That's why
There
he's
you
in the
go.
tournament team and we aren't.
Yeah, he was
Oh,
going
dear.
full on value there, and there
Yeah,
it goes.
So that's what?
Wow.
Probably the easiest 200,000 he's ever made in a tournament game.
Mamma, Lo prende, lo prende, lo prende, lo prende, lo prende! No, l'ha preso!
Sì, sì, l'ha preso.
Ma non l'ha ucciso!
No!
L'ha preso o non l'ha ucciso?
Saturata. Deve averlo preso nella parte saturata.
Incredibile!
Oh,
Oh, man.
boy. Uh-oh.
Oh, the strafe comes in just too late.
And it's,
Oh, okay.
it's gonna be super hard to avoid these.
No, he's gotta take something. They're at just an angle. Wait a second.
Right.
Reservoir's fast. Oh my god, he outrun them. Wait, but will he accidentally run into the next set? No, he's faster than the torpedoes.
He needs to basically sacrifice the planes. Unless they can... Oh, they managed to curve the shells between!